going to be absolutely fantastic. This week's session will touch on the following areas. The session aims to inspire, share, learn and connect to what are some of the most influential organisations working with our Black young people in the UK and across the community. How can we support our young people to encounter barriers within the education system? What are the advantages to our young people engaging in a mentoring service? How can we support our young people who are experiencing trauma? Can we prepare and equip our young people to become financially responsible and independent? Why is artificial intelligence awareness important for our young people? Why is more of our young people wanting to work for themselves? And is that realistic? So let me just give a big shout out to my speakers. Are they here on the platform? So Jackie, are you here? I'm sure I've seen you on the platform. Hi, Jackie. Can you say hello to our guests, please? Lilia, are you here on the platform? Can you please say hello to our guests? Paulette.
Lila, you're on mute.
Oh, I thought I couldn't unmute.
And Jackie's on mute.
Morning. Morning,
Right,
everyone.
Jackie, you're here?
Lila's here. Hi, can you hear me?
Right, Lilia's here, Jackie's here, Victoria, I've seen you. Say hello, everybody, please. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't unmute. It wouldn't
That's
let
all
me.
Right, you're unmuted now.
Yeah.
Okay. So say good morning to our guests and quickly introduce yourselves, please.
Morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Leila. I'm the founder of Urban Synergy. Good morning. I'm not a good morning person.
Jackie, can you please say hello to our guests?
Oh, good morning, everyone. I think I know quite a lot of people here. I'm Jacqueline Alcinda, and I'm head of our corporate partnership and inclusion for Urban Synergy.
Victoria?
Good morning, everybody. I am Victoria Griffith. I'm the founder of Spectacular Woman and the LiveWise Foundation, which supports young people around teen dating violence.
Fantastic. Michael?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Michael, Vice President of Finance at the 100 Black Men of London, and also a mentor there as well. I'm joined today with Katisha, who's also a mentor at 100 Black Men of London.
Welcome. Paulette? I think, Paulette, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Dana? Can you say hello and good morning?
Hi. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dana Byfield. Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's amazing to see all your beautiful faces so early. I am a mum of two, homeschooling mum. My favourite thing to do is to dance around the front room at the moment. I'm founder and CEO of Renegade Business. We help ambition-rich, time-poor entrepreneurs break free from being the centre of their business universe. I'm also an international speaker, trainer and coach.
Welcome, everybody. So let's kick off. Leila Thomas is the Network Rationalisation Manager and CEO and founder of Urban Synergy, who are an accredited mentoring and befriending charity founded in 2007. Urban Synergy supports Black, minority, ethnic and disadvantaged students aged between 10 and 18 years to reach their full potential through innovative programs of one-to-one mentoring, role model, and academic seminars, work shadowing experience, and life skills training. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Lilia has pivoted the charity strategy and developed e-mentoring, e-seminars, and parent support programs. And we also have Jackie Alcinda, is the Inclusion and Diversity Manager that you heard, formerly at Lloyds Banking Group, where she led the group's campaigns and initiatives for ethnicity. Jackie's areas of expertise are ethnicity, race, gender, and working with employees resource groups. At Lloyds, she led the cultural change to support colleagues of Black heritage by creating a series of immense experiences that challenge the negative stereotypes and serve to educate executives, leaders, and staff about race. So we are kicking off with two phenomenal, strong women. Now, Jackie and Lilia, it's over to you, my darlings.
Hello, hi. Can you see my screen?
Yep, it's up.
You
Yeah.
can. Hi. Morning, everyone. It's not a great day for many of us in the community today. As you know, we're all community people on the call. We've lost one of our community champions, and 100 Black men probably feel the same as us. So I'm not the same as I would normally be, to be honest. So I'm saying that because, unfortunately, one of our trustees and one of our friends, and Paul Lawrence, suddenly passed away yesterday. So it's been a difficult time. So I want to say a lot of the young people you see in this video, they've either been trained by mentors, they've had mentors trained that have helped them to reach their full potential and overcome those difficult barriers in our community. But Paul Lawrence has also trained us so we can train other mentors now to help those young people. So it's been difficult. One of the things that are very important for us to work in our community is have people like Paul Lawrence, because it's important that mentors are trained. So they do a good job, because the last thing you want to do is connect young people with somebody that doesn't know how to handle young people, to mobilize them and handle all the difficulties that they have. Issues in our community are very complicated, and our community in general handling exclusion in many different ways. It's great that we can work together to help those young people to access their dream goals and just be reach their full potential they should be. So thank you, Joan, for inviting myself and Jacqueline this morning over and since you talked to you. Hopefully we can inspire you still. I just had to say that about Paul. But as you can see here, we believe talent is everywhere, but opportunities are not. Okay, and what we do is bring opportunities to young people. So we believe success is when preparation meets opportunity. So we're Urban Synergy. We work with 10 to 18-year-olds in London. And why is my slide not moving to the next one? 1 minute. So how we began, nearly 15 years ago, youth crime was hitting a record high, and lots of people were talking about the problem, and everything. Lots of things you saw on the TV was just negativity about Black people, and also what you saw on the TV is probably, you don't see Black people in different industries. You see them in sport or entertainment sectors. So I thought, I come from a family of friends, a community that, we look after each other. That's how my parents operate, and that's how I believe, you do what you can do to help the next person. So, I had to take positive action. There's a group in Deptford Green of Black boys that are part of a London Challenge programme. And what they did, the London Challenge programme was working with Black boys at risk of underachieving. This government initiative. And what the school did was taking those young people to different activities to help tackle that problem. And one of the activities they did was taking the young people to Liverpool Slavery Museum. And on the way back, the young boy said to the teachers, well, what's the point? Because there's no positive Black role models in the community. So they contacted Urban Synergy because they knew we had a network of positive role models, pilots, lawyers, scientists, engineers. And that boy that you can see at the top there, we worked with him to create our first role model seminars. If you look on our website, you see, we reached thousands of young people aged 10 to 18. That he was one of the key boys we worked with to create those role model seminars, to bring those professionals directly into the school, bring those professionals also into the school so they could see where they worked and hear the benefits and learn from how they got to where they got to help those young people make those informed decisions themselves. Those seminars are still going today, online as well. And that's TJ down the bottom now as a mentor and a role model, working with the young people. So what we do, we create a cycle. So the young people come in as mentees and then become alumni members and then become mentors, role models themselves. This is a bit of our journey. So 2007, We've reached over 8,000 young people today. We take young people to different places. We take them to Downing Street, they met the Prime Minister. We take them to just all these different places where they might not have been to before. We take them to Savile Row, we take them to Harley Street, and not just taking them there as well, they've actually done work experience in those places as well that help improve their profiles as they go through transition. And today, we do COVID-19, we pivot our systems to online, so we do online seminars, work experience opportunities, and mentoring as well online. We also do, so one of the things we was really concerned about when we had to move our systems to online, so we was concerned, how do we work with those disengaged young people? So we thought we had to go younger. So we created a big school program to help primary school children transition to secondary school children, because we know there's research that shows that young people, Black children, don't progress as on the flight path they should do in secondary school. So we created a program to build up their self-confidence and build up their positive peer network and connect them to those positive role models in different industries, so they can feel confident and navigate going forward with a positive support network with transition. So we focused on their qualities to do that. Okay, so you can see the ages that we work with and some of the seminars that we do. And here, hopefully you can hear this. I'm going to try and play. Here's some feedback from one of our e-seminars, what the parent has said. Quick testimonial here. Can you hear this? Can you hear it?
It's quite low, Lilia.
Okay, all right, I'll pause that one.
Yeah,
pause it.
just
I've got one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show one other thing quickly before I go on. Oops, sorry. Technical problem here. Actually, sorry. It keeps on going.
And just to let you know, for the mentors, if at any point you wonder whether or not what you're doing makes a difference, I've got to tell you, it makes a huge difference. Angie, I've spoken to you before about a child who probably over 8 years ago now, when you came to visit us and you talked about being dyslexic. This child is now 17. She comes back to visit me regularly, and the conversation always turns back to urban synergy and your words of advice, and the fact that you said that you were dyslexic. She was too. She is too. She spent the first part of the school year using her dyslexia as an excuse not to do things. When she heard you, it was like a light bulb moment for this child. And as a young woman now, she is still inspired by you. You all make such a huge difference. Thank you so very much to all of you. It's been a brilliant morning. And I hope you go on to do lots of these mornings with lots of other schools, so that children across Lewisham, London, the country, the world even, benefit from all of your brilliant advice. I'm going to ask the teachers, can you make sure that you've unmuted, and the children are now going to give you a huge round of applause. Thank you so much.
Okay, hopefully you heard that okay. But that's the impact of our seminars. And it's important. I mean, the reason why I started this, I work in technology, I work in Canary Wharf, and what I see is underrepresentation there. You know, the young people that used to come into the office, they didn't look like me. However, the guys, the 16 white male guys that I worked with were looking for, you know, people that looked like us, and many of us on this call. And I just we just all thought we need to work together to bridge that gap, because just across the water, there was a whole community of young people that were vibrant and Black young talent, but they just didn't see themselves in those careers. And it's a complex reason, complicated puzzle, because when maybe we're looking those diverse communities are communities. You know, many of the parents don't work in those industries, and you know, a lot of the system is built on the networks. So that's what we to do to bring that network together. But there's other complex reasons as well that we started to look like that. I started to look. Lewisham had the highest amount of lone parent households as well. It had the highest amount of secondary school exclusions out of the whole London boroughs. So what we do, we just bring that network together. So the main things that we Urban Synergy focus on really are 4 things, because they almost talk about one city, 2 worlds. It's, you know, giving the young people the ability, developing their skills, and especially in this, as the labor market is changing. If everybody knows, if you work in any industry, it's just changing so much right now. So that's what our role models do. We raise aspirations, build their self-confidence, because they need to be confident. We raise awareness of those opportunities that they connect to, and we give access, you know, to those opportunities, matching their interests to those opportunities. So again, we believe success is when preparation meets opportunity, and we believe every young person has a talent. So we work with the academically able and those young people that are struggling as well, and those that are at risk of exclusion. So we get in as those young people are suffering from exclusion to build their aspirations. That's what we do, Urban Synergy. Over to Jacqueline.
Which can you go back? Have you got the same deck, Leila? Or did you? Is this a different one?
Let me see if it will go right back, actually. Oh, sorry. It's one of our boys that benefited.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, right. Let me share my screen. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different one. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Sorry. Thank you. And look, main thing to close, call to action. If you want your young person to have a mentor, age 16 to 18 in particular, we're doing young people can have a mentor from Urban Synergy. We've got 100 mentors from FTSE 100 companies. Those are the UK's largest top companies. If you want a young person to have a mentor, urbansynergy.com. I'm sure Jacqueline will say the same thing.
Okay. Thank you, Leila. Just to kind of give you a bit of kind of context. Leila, as you know, is the founder, and there's a fantastic team at Urban Synergy. I think Diane and maybe Charmaine may be on this call today. With all that kind of great work, I joined the team earlier this year, around March, really just because of my passion to help. Just a bit about my background. I've come a banker. I've come from financial services. I've been a banker for probably about 32 years. I've worked for most of the big banks on the high street. And when Joan asked me to come along and talk to you all, I really had to have a real kind of deep think about what are the kind of key things that I've actually learned in my banking career. I've run a lot of banks on the high street, so I was a branch manager myself personally, dealing with clients for over 10 years in that one-to-one kind of relationship, coaching my team to give financial advice, mortgage advice and investment advice to clients. And there's always 1 or 2 kind of fundamental things that you kind of that stay with you. So what I want you to do today is just kind of share a couple of those things and how they actually relate to the work that I do at Urban Synergy. And there is a kind of synergy in that kind of relationship. So, I'm sure, you guys are kind of financially savvy, but, there's, quite a lot of work at the moment that actually talks about, how do we actually prepare our young people to become financially responsible and independent? And that actually doesn't just relate to finance, it actually relates to, how they actually start their journey in the workplace. And that's what Urban Synergy do really well. So Black Caribbean households, there was a report published by the Runnymede Trust, okay, which actually talks about, actually what's the income we have as a household. So Black Caribbean households have an income of 20 pence for every £1. Okay, when you compare them to a white British person, and we're talking about wealth, okay, and for Black Africans, that's 10 pence when you compare them to every pound that you have from a white British kind of person. So in education, we're doing much worse when we compare ourselves, you know, particularly the Black Caribbean community, which is where I'm from, to other groups. But you know, what's the kind of significance of that? And the significance of that is about how we kind of progress in the workplace. So, you know, from a kind of Black and minority ethnic perspective, you know, a number of our young people now have university degrees, okay? But what they're not able to do is they're not able to monetize that actually in the labor market, okay? And, you know, and that's, you know, and that goes back to the point that Leila made about they don't have the network. And you know what we're seeing is that, you know, that trend, okay, unless we do something differently, okay, won't actually translate into money in their pockets. If you don't already know, just in terms of some of the demographic information, you know, the Black minority ethnic community make up 14% of the UK population, and by 2051, that's estimated to be 27%. Okay, so, you know, from an employer's perspective, there's a lot of movement in terms of thoughts, processes that companies are starting to think about as a result of the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, when it comes to race. So if we're going to actually start that journey from a financial perspective, okay, you know, where do we really start? Okay, so, you know, change that actually matters really begins at home. And we've seen that with Urban Synergy in terms of some of the work they actually do with young people, and, you know, part of the work they do around parent workshops. Okay, but, you know, we actually have to teach financial literacy. And for a young person, that teaching, you know, a lot of organizations have focused on teaching adults, but teaching young people is actually, you know, teaching them some really basic skills, you know, and it's, you know, teaching them about, you know, your own personal financial situation, you know, financial behaviors, okay, you know, sentiment around finances, you know, the education, and it's not actually that complex. But, you know, how we teach it for a 5-year-old, and it's quite different to how we teach it for an adult. And, you know, the observations and the things that I've probably done quite unconsciously, you know, because I've just come from that banking world, is, you know, for a 5-year-old, for example, it's like taking them to the supermarket and actually, you know, giving them a budget. You've got £5 to spend, whatever you want to spend it on, okay? You know, and I've done those really little things myself with my family. But I actually didn't really even realize, even though I'm in finance, that I was actually teaching them financial literacy. Okay, and some of the kind of behaviors and practices that we actually need to do as a community is actually, you know, just doing the basics, getting our young people to open a bank account or a savings account, you know, talking to them about loans and mortgages and credit, and talking to them about our own finances, because we actually have to start the education, and that journey starts at home. And as a community, we are really closed. You know, I've run so many banks on the high street, and I have to tell you that when I'm, you know, counselling, you know, people from our community, it's a really hard job. And that's because we just don't want to talk about it in the community, and we have got to stop kind of that reticence and actually start that education, because in the workplace, it makes a huge difference. Okay, so what we're seeing, okay, is, you know, a lot of things on the high street around the pay disparity, because we're not educating our community and our young people well. When they start work, you know, they're starting, you know, on quite a different footing, and as they progress through roles in work, they're not actually getting the value. Okay, so the last thing I'm just going to kind of cover off is, you know, some of the changes that you're seeing in the workplace. I'm not sure if some people would have seen that, you know, Lloyd's banking group, who were my former employers, you know, announced their gender pay gap reporting, and what that actually is telling us is that Black, employees are paid 20% less. Okay, but that behaviour and that fact is not necessarily just associated, you know, with Lloyds as a bank. It's actually, you know, happening right across the workplace. And as part of that, you know, that reporting this year for 2020 is not mandatory, but, you know, there's some conversations in that bank about that reporting being mandatory for 2021. So what we need to do as a community is, you know, hold our companies to account, you know, and actually start asking them what about their gender pay gap reporting. What is it? What is the gap? Okay, what are they doing about it? What's their action plan? Okay, you know, a lot of companies made statements around Black Lives Matter. You know, and so, you know, you've got that as, you know, your starting point in terms of holding them to account, because we need to hold them to account in order to, you know, start the kind of change. Some of the work that we've been doing and which Leila talked about is just getting, you know, our community prepared, our younger community prepared for the workplace. But part of that transition is actually, you know, making sure that we're prepared as well. So there's a lot of companies who have got race action plans, okay, as a result of Black Lives Matter movement. And what that actually means and how it translates to the workplace is they are now introducing focus groups to actually improve progression, to actually they've actually got a drive to actually recruit Black staff into their you know, into their workplace, but more importantly, progress them to the boards. So, you know, getting ready, get support, which Leila's already mentioned from an urban synergy perspective, starts with the young people, but there's also stuff that we can do as a community to actually make sure that we are taking the opportunities that will present as a result of those actions. As you know, there's so much that we can talk about, but, you know, very little that you can cover in 5 minutes in terms of real kind of financial advice. So I'm not proposing to actually kind of take the discussion any further. But if you need advice, you know, go see somebody professionally and get advice, because there's so many things that, you know, we are not doing well in the community from a financial perspective. But, you know, if you get support, you know, you can get ready, you can get yourself in a good financial position, but you can also get ready for the explosion in terms of opportunities that might present themselves in the next few years. That's all I'm going to cover. Joan, Leila, back to you. I'm going to stop sharing.
You finished, Jackie?
Yeah, is Leila still there? We've got a young person. Yeah, Diaman, is he on?
No, I don't think so, actually. And no,
okay.
I was talking to him. There's a lot of things that
well,
are
that
happening.
way, if he comes onto the platform, we can bring him in at some point.
Sure,
okay,
sure.
All right. Thank you, ladies. That was absolutely right, and it just shows, you know, the phenomenal work that you're doing out there in our community.
Yeah, we all have to work at this together. We have to invest in our community. We have to do it, because you can't respect a community that doesn't respect itself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to quickly move on because I'm conscious of time. I know Paulette's got another meeting. So Paulette Watson, founder and CEO of Academy Achievers. Paulette set up the Academy Achievers in 2005 as a voluntary community group and incorporated in 2017. Paulette has worked with children and young people aged between 5 and 19 years old who are disadvantaged, disaffected, vulnerable, experience real trauma and come from marginalised communities. So welcome, Paulette.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, my darling.
Okay, can you see my screen, everyone?
Welcome.
Hi,
I just wanted to quickly ask you a question whilst you get yourself sorted out.
Can you see? I've shared the screen. Can you see it?
I can see it. Yes, I can see it. So I wanted to quickly ask you about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Why is artificial intelligence awareness important for our young people?
Okay. There's so many reasons why artificial is important for. Firstly, my name is Paulette Watson, and as Joan said, I am the founder and CEO for Academy Achievers. We work with children, young people who are disaffected, disadvantaged, come from hard to reach communities, and we specialize in science, technology, engineering, maths. We focus on ensuring that our young people are digitally equipped. And because we understand what artificial intelligence can bring for opportunities for young people, we wanted to be able to expose them for them to understand, okay, what is deep learning, what is machine learning, what is natural processing, the language, how does it involve, what are the examples for today? So for example, when we talk about artificial intelligence, what's already in the community, what's happening, what people are using now is like your Alexa, your Google Assistant, you know, you've got the use of the facial recognition, and you've got a lot of things that's going on in terms of the technological wise. But the reason why young people really need to be exposed to this and why I'm championing it is simply because I feel that if young people are not part of the digital revolution, right, and they get left behind, it's going to be an issue where I'm not sure how they will get back on track. So it's quite relevant for them to be able to be part of the discussion, being able to be part of the opportunities that the artificial intelligence affords them. So there's like, for example, there's so much development, especially in Africa, where they don't even tell us about. Like, for example, there was one particular organization that they developed an agri app, and what that does, it basically uses the machine learning, and that helps to allow the tech to be able to identify if there's any disease in the plants, and to look at how they can grow or how they can monitor the land within parts of Africa. Other areas that they could get involved in terms of the artificial intelligence is that being able to use like the platform like TensorFlow, Amazon, Lex, IBM, Watson, they're developing so much new initiative that young people need to have access to these opportunities. And what I'm finding is that within our community, they don't have that access. And our young people have not been part of the conversation. So it grieves my heart, because my background is that I am a computer engineer, and I've always been involved in this technology. And seeing these young people being excluded and the opportunities not there, especially when you go to schools, I don't believe or see that the education system is really set up to look at how to involve young people in AI. For example, I know that with the curriculum, they're teaching them information communication technology. It's only recently they started teaching computer science. And sometimes a lot of the children struggle, because when they're teaching them Python, when they're teaching Visual Basic, they don't understand the code or the algorithm, and some of them find it difficult. So this is the position. If these young people are finding it difficult doing those computer science subjects, how are they going to be able to move on to the next level? You know, being able to get involved in the new technology, to get involved with being part of the digital development, especially with the United Nations. They're doing the Sustainable Development Goals, and they're looking at education equity, they're looking at social exclusion and the digital literacy, trying to make sure they upskill young people. But at a basic level, yes, that's good, but we need to try and introduce our young people to say, once you understand the tech, HTML, JavaScript, those are the basic levels, yes, get into understanding, get into the nitty-gritty of it, the artificial, you've got the big data, the Internet of Things. I mean, I could go on and on about this technology, because this is what I talk on, what I love doing. So yeah, it is important, Joan, for them to be part of it. Urban Synergy talked about, they gave like the data in terms of the disparity amongst, in terms of the pay gap, in terms of having young people getting into jobs. But the problem is when they get into these organizations, it's making sure that the gatekeepers, you know, look at their DI, their diversity and inclusion policy, and get the young people involved and understand what does it look like, identify the culture of the young person, and creating an inclusive policy. But, you know, what I've seen time and time again, you know, they're expecting them to work, but they're not retaining them. So a lot of these young people have the qualifications, especially the girls. That's what I want to talk about, the BAME project. They have these qualifications, but the glass ceiling, the concrete ceiling is not allowing them to get to the next level. So yes,
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. And it just shows, you know, we've got a long way to go, but, you know, it's having people like yourself who, you know, who are brave and, you know, women of conviction, you know, to in a way fight this.
Yes.
You know, if anyone's on the platform who wants to get involved, you know, please post your details into the chat. Try and connect with, you know, Lilia, Jackie's organisation, Urban Synergy. Try and connect with Paulette, you know, because what you guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal, and what a challenge to get 1 million, you know, into tech. And you always find that, you know, young people always shy away from like tech and maths, like the sciences. There's that fear, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a lot more I could really say about this project that I'm doing. Can you give me 5 minutes to just go through it? Is that okay?
That's good. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so a little bit of history about me. I was a young mother. I fell pregnant at 19, and it was just at the time when I was going into fintech. So I got a job at Citibank. I was in exceptionally well, but I realized that my daughter wasn't doing well in the education system. So I wanted to be able to be there for her, and I wanted to be her role model. So I set up Academy Achievers, but on the basis of, because I was living in Lewisham at the time, I recognized the demographics, and at the time I focused mainly on white working class boys and Black African Caribbean because of the aspirational levels. So when I set up Academy Achievers in 2005, it was a voluntary community organization, and then we incorporated it 3 years ago. Now, the reason why we felt that we need to incorporate is simply because of all of the youth violence, in terms of we were seeing that there was gang-related activities. We saw that young girls were being sexually exploited. We were working with parents, and we understood that they just were just struggling. And we saw that the young people were just experiencing real trauma. So our organisation, Academy Achievers, we started to expand. So bearing in mind, it was just me, a single parent mother, and I was managing this organisation. I thought, I cannot cope with this anymore. It's a challenge. So I started to teach myself to do all the funding application. But as I'm doing the funding application, I'm understanding that Newham and Lewisham, you know, young people were really totally being excluded, especially children that looked like me. And then because I was pursuing my career in STEM, in tech, I realized that I did so much within the community, and there was so much social impact that I won a global award for women in STEM. And I thought, okay, so when I was going to all these big meetings and listening and looking at the data in terms of women and how they were not being represented within the workforce, and there was a review by the Rose Review, and Alison Rose, and she was saying that, you know, lack of women on the board roles, lack of women in terms of leadership, in terms of fintech. And I thought, this is mad. And she was saying it was 5% overall. I'm thinking, well, if that's the percentage for women in the UK as a whole, what is the percentage for Black women? Yeah, so although I managed I'm the CEO for Academy Achievers, I was really broken at the fact that Black women were literally just being left behind. Hence why I set up the BAME project to make sure to raise 1 million Black girls' aspiration in science, technology, engineering, and maths. Now, I'm very, 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 very clear on this, that this is my passion, this is my mission, simply because I feel that we always get sidetracked. Now, there's data around this, and Urban Synergy has basically highlighted all the data. They've given you a presentation, so I don't need to go over it, but there's a societal problem. The BAME project literally links to these 5 of these 17 sustainable development goals from the United Nations. One is innovation, entrepreneurialism, health and mental well-being, education equity, and social inclusion, right? We want to make sure that our girls are not digitally left behind. Yeah, we want them to get involved in the Internet of Things, where they can be empowered to create smart cities, smart homes. Right now, there's a smart city in London. Lewisham is leading on one. There's one in Bristol. There's one in Bradford, Manchester. My girls have to be a part of that opportunity. So I'm championing the BAME project to ensure that 1 million Black girls are part of it. Okay, so Red Bull supports me. They love my project and they want a partnership with me. I'm working with Sienna. We've just signed a partnership, and to run the course for 10 years, it's literally going to cost us 153 million. And they're saying to me, Paula, you can't just do it in the UK. You have to take this globally. Yeah, I've done pitch after pitch after pitch. I have to make sure that no Black girl literally is left behind. Because when you look at Black women on a whole, we are creative, we are innovative, right? We are entrepreneurs. We make the most money. There was a report by McKinsey 2018 when it talks about if organizations don't be careful, right? And they don't take into account the diversity and inclusion of people on a whole, especially Black women, yeah, they're going to lose out financially. The government has lost out financially because they pushed us down. We contribute so much money to the GDP of the UK, but they have blocked us continuously. Our young people, you call them the Generation Z, they are the one who are fighting for climate change. Any product that they create, they are getting involved, right? There's an issue in terms of the big data, right? Any product that you're creating under the Internet of Things, right? The manufacturers are taking our data and they're creating products based on our data. They're using the algorithm oppressiveness. They're oppressing us, the Jim code. There's so much going on within the technology. It's crazy. You've got mixed reality. Right now, there's an issue with Timit Gilbrew, who was, she was the computer science, the lead for Google, and they sacked her, they fired her because they rejected one of her papers. Because what? Artificial ethical, you know, there was probably an issue in terms of, she was saying, well, actually, how they're using the algorithm, yeah, is trying to exclude people. They're doing it, there's books on it, yeah? We've been championed. They are creating, if you look back, how when 2018, if you typed in Black woman, a gorilla face comes up. No, I'm not happy. I'm not impressed with it. We have to stand up and shout about it. Too long our young people have been excluded. Year after year after year after year. Enough is enough. So the BAME project is there to raise 1 million Black girls' aspiration in science, technology, engineering, and math. Thank you.
Wow.
I just got a bit passionate.
Wow. What a powerful, oh my goodness. And you know what? You're going to do it.
I have to.
You're going to do it.
Girls cannot suffer.
What is so fantastic this morning is that, you know, there's what, 130 people on the platform, so they know about the project. Yeah. So please post all the information into the chat about the project, and people, please get behind Urban Synergy, get behind Paulette. Yeah. Because one hand can't clap.
Yes,
yeah, one hand can't clap. We've all got to get behind and support each other. It's about community. And if one thing COVID has taught me, it's not about I. Yeah, we have to work together as a collective. Yeah, and our dear brother Paul, who's gone on to the other side, yeah, he was a true community champion. And we, if anything, pick up the mantle, what he has kind of dropped now, and go forward. It's about onwards, upwards. Yeah, and we got to do it. Paulette, what a phenomenal Black woman you are. A woman of power, conviction. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So much. So please, if you've got any questions for any of our presenters, please put it into the chat. Paulette will be around for a little while. Yeah. If you want to get involved in the project, if you've got a skill.
Yes.
If you've got a skill, please put it in the chat. Come forward, step up. I'm not asking you to take it on as a full-time job. It could be an hour a week. Yeah, it could just be an hour a week. Yeah, so that's like me. That's calling out my community to come on, step up. Yeah, fantastic, phenomenal. Thank you, my darling. Absolutely, I'm just on fire from that.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
On fire.
Thank you, John, for the opportunity. I'm so humbled. I am so humbled.
Oh, me too. You know, and that's why I had to pull this particular platform together, because I know there are so many organizations out there working, you know, all for the good of our young people, you know, and even if you guys can think of projects and collaborate together, because there's more power in people working together now. Yeah, it's the same pool of kids to a degree. Same pool of young people. So, you know, boy, great things are going to happen. Great things are coming. Great things. So Paulette, boy, you're just, the chat is on fire.
Really?
I don't even know if you can go in there. The chat is on fire.
Okay, thank you.
But God bless you. Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you.
Running a little bit behind time. So I've got
Sorry.
Michael. Sorry, sweetie?
I'm sorry that you're behind time.
No, don't worry. You know, you've all got powerful messages to give this morning. Powerful. And that was, oh gosh, I don't even know what to say. Amazing. Thank you, my queen. Thank you. So we've got Michael. Are you there, Michael? Vice President and Finance and Mentor of the 100 Black Men of London, founder of KBM, Financial Focus, Accountancy and Financial Services. The 100 Black Men movement began in New York City in 1963. I'm actually going to let Michael do his introduction. Yeah, I don't want to take away the glory and the limelight from you. You do your introduction.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. I'm not sure how I follow after the last two, 3 people that have come on, but I'll try my best. Thank you for allowing me on the platform, myself and Katisha. Just to give an introduction for those who don't know what the 100 does and who they are, I thought I'd play a video. The video is quite fitting for the timing as well. I was going to give an introduction, but after hearing the news about Paul, I thought it would be right for Paul to give an introduction about what the 100 does. So I'm going to try and play the video that he done for us. Only a few months ago. But this is from one of the co-founders of the 100, and I can't think of a more powerful way to talk about what the 100 does and what we do. Let me just put it on now. Okay. Okay. I hope you guys can hear the sound as well.
Hi, my name is Paul Lawrence, and I'm a founding member of the 100 Black Men of London. The 100 Black Men of America was founded back in the 60s as a response to the conditions African Americans were facing at the time. The ethos was and remains very simple. The men of our community were being asked to step up. Faced with direct and overt legal discrimination, the creation of the 100 was a call for men, Black men, to adopt leadership positions in lifting our communities, which were shackled by centuries of oppression, which began long before their time on the shores of Africa when Europeans discovered our continent. Slavery began a series of events which today the descendants of both Black and white struggle with. Slavery created an imbalance of power which has never been addressed. When an ununiformed cop can enter into your home without knocking or announcing themselves, fire 20 shots, kill a completely innocent woman, and then arrest her equally innocent partner because he fired at them with his legal firearm, they do so because they know where the power balance lays. The descendants of those ripped from the African continent are both survivors and victims of the most heinous crimes humanity has ever seen. And the 100 Black Men of London stand shoulder to shoulder with anyone protesting against these crimes and this system. We must honor the call of our ancestors who told us to get up off bending knees and protect our women and children. We are called the 100 Black Men because for too long, far too long, the burden of holding our communities, our families, our lives together in our very darkest moments has fell on the shoulders of our women. It's time for the Black men to step up or step aside. Understand, it is not our brief to end racism. That is for those who benefit from it. The 100 has proven programs designed to strengthen our most precious resources. We see them on the streets, they're in your homes, and yes, they are on TV fighting in the only way they know how. Our youth need you. The 100 Black Men of London need you. Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously from what we just heard from Paul, it's funny, we was having a conversation yesterday, a few of us on the board, and also with some of the young people that Paul connected with. It was just an impromptu group call, and we're saying what we can't do. Like for today, for example, we have one of our normal mentoring sessions. So what Paul wouldn't want is for us to stop all that and to not continue what he's already started. What we need to do now is kind of look at his life and carry on from what he has started for us. And we're going to continue to do that. And I hope platforms like this is an example of us doing that. As you can see from the message we just got from now, it's a powerful message as why the 100 started. And I will go into a bit more as well. We'll do a little slideshow as well. But what I want to do first is pass it over to Katisha, who's on the call as well. Katisha started off her 100 journey as a parent of one of the young people that we do the mentoring for. So I'll pass it over to her and I'll come back afterwards.
Thanks, Mike. As everybody said, a sad loss, and Brother Paul, we salute you. So my name is Katisha. I embarked on my journey of looking for a mentor for my son because I'm a lone parent. And statistics suggest that the outcome for young Black males in this category are daunting. My son would not be a number. So I embarked on a journey of early intervention, looking for an organization that could be part of my village. My son has been on the 100 Black Men program for 4 years. He started as a diamond in Me I Can Be One and has worked his way through the program and is now YLA, with me participating in the parent sessions. So the enrichment is working in tandem together. I observed my son flourishing. His confidence is soaring. I've seen him stand and share his opinion with vigor. Sorry, guys. This was not the child I brought to the first session. My son has been taught many things while on the program, but one thing that I am very grateful for is that they have worked hand in hand with me, directing and nurturing my son, and had given him the missing ingredient that I didn't have, maleness. Why I wanted to be part of the 100. I work in the community with families, and sometimes I think to myself, what could have been done before there was a crisis point? I have been looking for the answer. The 100-man ethos is what they see there will be. And I'm a firm believer of learned behavior and how representations of one's skin and gender is a powerful tool. I also believe that if young people were more exposed to an array of positive self-imagery, it will shed a positive light and can also derail negative lived experiences. Helping young people to change the narratives is pivotal to promoting positive behaviors changes, especially if the home lives are difficult and there's no other positive attachments. My experience as a mentor, observing the impact that the session has had with my son has compelled me to join the 100, made me want to be part of the community organization and give back to my community. I am amazed at what happens behind the scenes and the work and dedication that the mentors give to the young people in their own time, and which is astonishing. And has given my son many opportunities. While I'm a mentor, I find my comfort zone with the organization and join some of the 100 pillars, such as safeguarding, health and well-being, and community, and being part of the community program, Me I Can Be Too. What the 100 has done for me, I have organized and taken part in running sessions for the young people that promote self-identity, self-worth, and give them a platform to be heard effectively, that allows them to foster opinions and waters them with education, promotes leadership and community growth. One thing that I didn't expect was that I would gain something back. I have learned a lot about myself as a person. I have built on my confidence and uncovered a new skill, i.e. presenting. Some of the programs that are run by the 100 Community Mentor Program is stuff like self-identity, the influence of media, money management, relationships, drug and substance misuse, and health and well-being. And I will just leave the end of this talk with maybe an effigy, and it's about plants. So if you leave a plant on the side, it will wither and die. But if you water it and you nurture it, it will bloom again and again. And that's what I feel about the 100. Michael, over to you.
Thank you for that, Katisha. And thank you for sharing the journey. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on. We actually have 4 pillars that we use in the 100. It's education, mentoring, health and wellness, and economic empowerment. Those are the 4 things that we concentrate on. Obviously, at the moment, Katisha was talking on the mentoring side, and just showing from how she went from just being a parent there to now being a mentor. And then I think last year as well, leading our graduation online. I know how hard that was, because usually we do a face-to-face graduation at the end of the year. But Katisha came in. I think you only been a mentor for a few months when you took over that role as well. So it just shows how much commitment there is there. And for myself, before I go in a bit about the 100, for myself, the reason I joined the 100, to be honest, it was a complete accident. So I was actually looking for a mentor for myself. I was at the stage where I just started my first business, and I wanted someone to guide me through that. But I wanted a Black mentor, so I searched in Black mentoring, and it came up with 100 Black Men of London. So I thought when I was going there to get a mentor myself. When I got there, I found out that they expected me to be mentoring young people, which was funny the way things work out, but I stuck with it anyway. And before that, doing the mentoring, it was a case of I have 8 younger brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest of all of them, and I felt like I was guiding them anyway. So what I was doing with the 100 was just transferring my skills from what I'd been doing previously before. And I felt a lot of the young people, especially the young boys that were there, a lot of them that were having troubles came from a similar background to where I came from. And what people were missing was the fact that they weren't being understood. It wasn't that they were actually that bad. And I think that's what they find in schools. In schools, the teachers think that automatically that they're bad. But they're not bad. They're not bad at all. They're just misunderstood. Exactly what I went through when I was younger. And then through the mentoring, the reason I went from doing mentoring now to doing the vice president of finance is because I knew that I wanted to. As I was in the 100, I saw that there's a few things that I wanted to change. How I wanted it to go forward, and just give it an injection of youth maybe into the current board that we had. So as soon as the opportunity came for like new board members to come in, that's when I stepped up for that. And it was actually Ola, who's the current president now, Kola, who was the president before, and Paul Lawrence, who actually guided me into taking the role for VP Finance before I took it. And so that's my journey. That's my journey through that. What I want to do now is just quickly, because I know we're over time, just quickly run through a little slide that we've done. Give me 1 second. Okay. Is it showing?
Yes, we can see it. We can see it. That's
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Thank you.
All right. So one of our mottos that we have at the 100 is what they see is what they'll be. So we have to emulate. We have to show the young people and be a good role model for them so they can see it. At the moment, and like I said, the same for when I was younger. At the moment, what we kind of have is we have fake role models, let's say like that. We have people who are coming on and telling our young people that the way that you show that you're successful is by having the biggest house, having about 10 cars outside that house, having about 50 different women and all this kind of thing. When I speak to my young people and I tell them to describe what a successful person looks like, that's what they come up with. And it's such a shame because, like I was saying previously, we have real role models like a Paul Lawrence who's actually doing things in the community, and the young people are not seeing that, unfortunately. So it's for us to show them something different, and that's the reason why, one of the reasons why I came into the 100, and all the people, the members and volunteers as well. Everyone has got their own professional job or business that they're doing outside of it. So this picture here, this is the current board that we have. And the way it works at the 100 to keep things fair is every 2 years you vote in a new board. So you can still go for your same position, but yeah, there's a chance for people to come in if they want to be. The positions that we have is the president, which is Ola, who's sitting down in the middle, and then we also have the other positions. Is we have a vice president of programs, who handles all the programs that we do within the 100. And then we have our vice president of admin, who handles all our administration and stuff that goes through the 100. And then we have the vice president of operations, which dictates how the organization is run. And then you have myself, which is the vice president of finance. A lot of that is to do with providing funding for the organization for projects that we're trying to do, going to sponsors, investors, and also ensuring that all the legalities to the charity are under wraps, and we're doing that correctly. Okay, so I mentioned before that we have 4 pillars. So one of the pillars, and the one that we're most known for, is actually mentoring. And the mentoring, it's like secondary school that we start from. So it's like 11 years old, year 7, 10, 11 years old, to when they finish school. So around 18, depending on what they do, if they go to college, if they do the A levels, if they want to start an apprenticeship. It's depending on what they want to do, but we try and guide them through the whole process. So they'll come in, like Katisha was saying, and they'll have they'll come in and start with Me I Can Be 1. That's our youngest group. And then we have Me I Can Be 2 as well. In those two classes, they go through almost like life skills, things that you're not taught in school, so things to help you survive outside of school, things that they don't tell you that you need for survival, until you get to an adult and you're like, oh, well, no one ever told me this before. So we try to teach them at that age so they understand. So Me I Can Be 1 is just it's more just bringing them into it because they're quite young, so we don't go too much in depth. Me I Can Be 2, they're usually around 12, 13, 14, so we go a bit more in depth to them. The third class that we have is called YLA. YLA is Young Leaders Academy, and in that, what we teach them then, they're around 15, 16 at this age. What we try and teach them then is now about goal setting. What is it that you want to do with your life? What are you trying to do? How do we make you become like a leader within the community? We teach them about how to become an entrepreneur, how to start their own business as well. So they're not automatically working for someone else, but they have the opportunity to start their own business if they want to. So that's what they teach them in YLA, and it's like a big jump. It's like going from your GCSEs to your A levels. It's a big jump from Me I Can Be 2, because it's more now. We're now being more intentional what we're trying to achieve. And then the last class that we have for the young people is peer mentoring. Peer mentoring, they're usually around 16, 17, 18. So they're at the stage now where they're either going to go to university, they're either going to go into a job, apprenticeship, or they're just trying to work out what they want to do. So we help them and work with them to achieve those goals. But at the same side of that, we teach them how to be mentors amongst their peers, how to be leaders, and yeah, how to not follow crowd and how to actually stand out when they leave the 100. A lot of the peer mentors actually come back and then mentor the young people. So we give them that training as well. And then they can take it to wherever they're going to afterwards. So as you can see in the pictures here, the first two pictures is, the first picture, sorry, is something that we do once a year, and it's called, I think it's Audience with Our Children. And that one is usually, it's quite good, because what will happen is you literally have the young people on one side of the room facing their parents on the other side of the room. And then a subject is put out, and then a subject title will be put out, or a question will be put out there. And then now it's for the young people to give their answers. So whereas maybe before they might not have had a voice to show what they wanted to say, we give them that platform there. So one of the questions that we'll have on there is, do you think, let's say for example, do you think your parents exaggerate about how much time you're on your social media or something like that? And it's for the young people to answer that. Or one of the ones that usually gets it and it gets a bit emotional is, do you feel at a disadvantage from being in a single parent family? And that one usually brings out a lot of good answers, and then we get to see how it works. The last picture, as you can see, again, that's Paul Lawrence, and that's our parents class. So anything that we teach the young people in Me I Can Be One, Me I Can Be Two, the same subject is being taught or being spoken about with the parents. So then when they go home, the young person doesn't have someone to speak to about it, so it doesn't just die. And that's the reason why we have the Parents in Partnership sessions as well. Just going through what I've already said. End goal is to become leaders, mentors, and mentors amongst their peers. We also have the Parents in Partnership one. At the end of every year, we graduate our young people and the parents. So the young people that have been coming throughout the year, and also have shown the skills and growth within it. If they've shown all those things, then we graduate them. We have a big celebration. Everyone dresses up. It's quite good. And the subject, some of the subjects we cover. The first subject we always cover at the start of every year is self-identity, which is key in the, let's say, in the world that's trying to destroy our identity, or they're trying to take our identity. So that's the first thing we cover. We also cover things like money management. I know someone spoke about that earlier as well. We also talk about families and relationship. A lot of young people that come to us, it's usually the mums that bring the child to us, because maybe the dad's not around or he's not a good role model. So that's the reason why sometimes they come to us. The effects of social media and how it's used to control and mark our movements in a way. And another one is effective communication. And that's just helping our young people to, how do you say this? Helping our young people in a world where you might need to have, let's say, a white voice or something, because they don't understand us just at the moment. One of the other ones that's not on here that's very important is we teach the young people about how to handle the police, what to do if you're stopped and searched, what the police can and cannot do. So we teach them. We usually get a black police officer to come in and talk to us as well, and tell us about all the stats, and again, like I said, what they can and cannot do, where you can be touched, where you can't be touched, when you can be searched, when you can't be searched, what to take note of if you want to make a complaint, stuff like that, is all taught. So we do that. That's a once a year thing as well. Now, I'm sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time. Sorry. Another pillar is health and well-being. We have a health and wellness day once a year, but throughout the year we also do it's time we talked. Once a month we do It's Time We Talked, and we have things like we discuss different subjects in that. I'm going to run through quickly because I've definitely run over my time, so you can ask questions at the end if anything. But some of the things that we discuss is like common issues within our community. Like I said, it's the last Thursday of every month. We do a Zoom for internal and external. We discuss things like mental health, discuss things like sickle cell. I think the last one 2 months ago was about prostate cancer. All the different things that we might not have the information for. So we usually get professionals to come in and actually talk to us about it. We also talk about what foods we should and should not eat, and talking about being a Black person in countries that are designed for Europeans. How do we live with that? What shouldn't we be doing? What should we be doing? How to keep ourselves physically and mentally healthy as well. Our third pillar that we have is education, which links very closely to the mentorship. But this one is with teaching the young people and getting them prepared for their careers or what they want to go into. So we take them on careers day. We have we go to the external careers day, like ones that are like Excel or that Reach Society put on. We go to those careers day, but we also have an internal careers day. We have close to like 100 members and volunteers who all have professional jobs. So what we do is when we do our internal careers day, we have people come and talk about their actual jobs and give them a breakdown for the young people so they understand. We do things like Easter Entrepreneur, which is like a workshop for anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur, any young person. That's for any age, and that's for externals as well. We also do education talks every fortnight. We was meant to have one last Friday, but obviously because of the news, we postponed that. But that just discusses, those are teachers coming onto the platform, talking about the different things that are happening. So at the moment, the big talk right now is obviously COVID and how our young people are learning through that situation. We teach, we do sessions like how to succeed at school, especially if you have a teacher who doesn't understand where you're from, how do you deal with things like that without getting yourself in trouble? We offer support for 16 and overs for like A-levels, college, uni application, apprenticeship. We also have like time to talk finance, where we talk about, again, like money management, like I was discussing. We started teaching people about trading this year as well. We're starting an investment club next year, but it's all about growing ourselves, like growing our own economy, which leads perfectly to our last pillar that we have, which is economic empowerment. And with economic empowerment, what they do is they run a business workshop. It's about 15 classes in this workshop. It runs throughout the year, and it's all about taking a lot of small Black-owned businesses and taking them to the next level to become a medium-sized business, and then showing them how to take that now to become a large business and actually compete with the other ones and take over. So, and yeah, I've put a little message here, is like just to say the only way that we can truly move forward is through group economics. None of us are going to do this by ourselves. We have to come together, and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the things that the 100 talks about and wants to do. We need to come together and unite and start building our own economies. If you look at every other race, demographic, whatever, they've built their own economy. So when things like COVID happen, they're comfortable, and it's us that are left struggling. We need to do that. So some of the things that we teach within the business program is like customer service, how to provide good customer service. Talk about sales techniques. So the people that teach this program all have their own businesses as well. So they draw from their own experience. We teach, and this is one of the sessions that I run as well, about accounting, and just knowing how to read your books. What I've found within my career is a lot of people, even as my accountant myself, and I might be like selling myself short, but a lot of people oversell accounting packages. So you'll go and say, I need an accountant, they'll charge you a ridiculous amount. If you actually knew what they were doing, you'll realize that it's not that hard. So we actually teach people how to do their own accounting. So you can save money there, and only use an accountant when you need to submit like legal documents. We also teach about marketing. That's a big thing within the business and how we can grow it. But those are some of the things that we cover. Some of our goals for 2021 is we're launching a crowdfunder, and the aim for that is to purchase our own building. This is something that we've been looking to do for a while. We want to purchase our own building, run our classes through that, and through that building as well, we want to turn it into like a youth centre. I know for myself personally, when I was young, that was one of the things that kept me out of trouble. The fact that you can have a youth centre somewhere you can go after school, rather than just hanging on the roads or the streets or wherever. So youth centre is one of the things that we want to have through this building, open it up throughout the week so young people can go there. Also offer opportunities for them, for somewhere for them to do their homework, and to, if they want to build their own businesses or do whatever they want to do, we'll provide it at this place. It's also a good opportunity for us to collaborate with all the other organizations, especially the Black organizations who need a home as well. So you can come in, so the building is for you guys as well. This is not just a 100 thing. This is something that we're trying to build as the 100, to be like a community hub. So everything can come through this building. So it's something for us all to invest in. I spoke on before about talking about trading. It's another thing that we need to work on more as a community, having different sources of income. So like I said, when a COVID happens, we're not left thinking, oh my gosh, I might lose my job, what am I going to do? There's another source of income. So the investment club will teach, we'll have someone teaching for each kind of investing that we can do. So it'll be like stocks, someone teaching about stocks, you can join that group. Someone teaching about, let's say, shares, someone teaching about cryptocurrency, someone talking about forex trading, someone talking about precious metals like gold, silver, and you can choose a group unless you want, or you can choose all groups. And what the 100 will be doing is we'll be putting a little something into the pot as well. So whenever someone's investing, you can see how it's going up and down. So we're not just giving you advice or telling you what to do, and we're not putting an investment in ourselves. So that's what we're looking to do. Next year, for those who don't know, it marks our 20-year birthday for the 100 Black Men of London. So yeah, it's been running for 20 years. Obviously, 100 Black Men International in America, like Paul said in the video, started in the 1960s. But yeah, so next year we're looking to do a gala, but obviously that depends on the COVID restrictions. But hopefully, if all that has been lifted, then I hope to see all of you guys there at the 20-year anniversary of 100 Black Men of London. We're looking to, this is something that we've been pushing on with a lot more recently. We're looking to collaborate with other organizations. As you can see today already, there's plenty of organizations that we're all doing the same thing. We're all going for the same young people. We're all trying to help our community. Instead of spreading our resources so thinly, why are we not uniting together as one, and then bringing all our resources together? So I think that's one thing that we definitely need to focus on. The 100 is looking to do it, and to be honest, I can go on a lot with that collaborate thing, because I've had some troubles with some people who just really want to do it by themselves, and that kind of attitude needs to leave this community immediately. But I'll get into that a bit later, because I'll get too passionate about that. And also, what we want to do, like I was talking about earlier in the investment club, we're trying to focus on money and building our own economy. So we're looking to start some seminars, which would be like on a quarterly basis, which will just give advice and things in a way that the Black people can step forward as one. So we start uniting rather than all doing little different things all over the place. And that's the end for me. I know I went about 2 hours over the time that I meant to talk, but there's a lot that the 100 is doing at the moment. But yeah, the last motto that we have is "Together we can," and this is one of the pictures that we had after our mentoring session. Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome, Michael. One of my mottos is "Together we are stronger." Yeah. So often when I'm sending that WhatsApp message about something, that's one of my key mantras, and I really believe passionately that together we are stronger. And this for me is just the first of one of these kind of like young people. We're focusing on our young people. I mean, it's the Queen's Walking Group, and we're Zooming, and as you know, women, we're mothers, sisters, aunties, grandmothers. When our children are not in a good place, it affects us. Yeah, it affects our health and well-being. We're fretting, we're crying, we're worrying. And when our children are excelling, we're excelling with them. And it's really important to have organizations, that our young people can tap into. But we need the support of the parents or whoever's caring for these young people to steer them in the right direction. Yeah, I'll just give you a little example of something that happened to me. My grandson is 9, and when he said to me that he wanted to be a Power Ranger, I said, no. Yes, no Power Ranger. Yeah, so near where I live, I got him into football. Yeah, it's about engaging our young people in productive, youthful activities, empowering them. If you look at the kind of like elite and rich young people in our society, from their kids are little, yeah, they're talking about careers, they're talking about finance, they're talking about investment, they're talking about property, from their small. And we, in a way, have to engage with our children that way, get them off the Xbox and the 2 fingers going on the Xbox and the remote control and the TV. So what you guys are doing, I mean, on a Saturday, you guys are putting your time in, empowering our young people. Absolutely fantastic, amazing. Well done you. Well done all of you. Well done all of you on the platform. I mean, I was going to ask you what are the advantages of our young people engaging in a mentoring service, but I mean, through the presentation, you've answered the question, So about how many young people do you mentor at the moment? How many people are involved in the project? Do you know?
In the 100 at the moment?
Yes.
So in the 100 at the moment, we've got around 100 young people.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, it's changing because of the COVID situation. But yeah, around 100 young people, and then we have about 40 parents on the course as well. Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask you, please put your details into the chat, all the ways in which, if anybody wants to get involved, with your particular project, please put your contact details into the chat. Michael, Katisha, please put the contact details into the chat. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions for any of our presenters, could you please post those into the chat, then we can quickly answer them at the end of this session. So I'm going to quickly move on to Victoria. Hi, Victoria, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, welcome. Victoria, you're the founder and director of Spectacular Women and the Live Wise Foundation for Teens. Victoria is a mum of 2 beautiful girls, a thriver of domestic abuse, a life coach and vision strategist, author of the book called Unshakable You, which aims to help people to overcome and heal from domestic violence. Victoria is also the creator of the Heal Your Heart 6 Steps Mastery Program, which helps people to overcome trauma and abuse. Victoria is a multi-award winner, founder and director of Spectacular Women and the Live Wise Foundation for Teens.
Yes, thank you, Joan, for inviting me onto this platform. Amazing, my God, I'm blown away listening to, I mean, I know that we are amazing, we are amazing Black people anyway, but just listening to all the wonderful things that are going on in the community in terms of trying to help raise us up is amazing. So yeah, that was just really so inspiring and empowering to hear. So kind of, looking at things from a holistic view is where I come from in terms of my standpoint. And so I have got some slides and I'm mindful of time, so I'm not going to cover everything. I'm just going to cover one or a few that I feel is quite relevant, because I believe that everybody deserves a healthy and safe relationship. And listening to all the different industries in terms of what these individuals or you know, the women and the man that shared in terms of what they offer to people in our community, I absolutely believe that we can have careers with, you know, and have money and be, you know, whether a footballer or whether an architect or whatever it may be for an individual. But I absolutely believe that if, you know, as somebody has experienced some form of abuse in their life and they haven't healed from it, then, you know, it's something that eventually will come back and bite them in the bum, I would say, and it could impact their lives. So for me, I focus on young people because I feel that sometimes with adults, they may have experienced some form of abuse. Sometimes it can be difficult for them to overcome that and can sometimes go through life really just holding on to that pain and that hurt, and then it affects every area of their life. So part of the work I do is to focus on young people through my LiveWise Foundation, which is to build young people up to have successful relationships, but also to teach young people about healthy and safe relationships and what that looks like. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we do in the foundation and just share some statistics in terms of young people that may be experiencing this. And this is really linked to teen dating violence. So, okay, abuse, as I would feel we all know, and for those that don't know, is physical, emotional, sexual. Physical abuse means any form of violence, such as hitting, punching, pulling hair, and kicking. Abuse can happen in both dating relationships and friendship relationships. And for me, this is so important because I think when people think of domestic abuse or domestic violence, people just think, oh, a partner relationship. But you can also experience abuse in your peer groups, yeah, where I consider those things to be quite toxic, where you might have a friend that may put you down or be pressuring you to do things that you don't want to do. So abuse can also happen in friendships, in friend relationships. So just some statistics that I pulled off from the dating relationship violence. And I looked at, you know, this is between 16 to 19-year-olds in England and Wales. Then this is kind of like a cross-sectional study for dating relationship violence. And they've kind of clustered, this is clustered into two categories of females and for males. So with dating relationship violence among females, there is, you know, 46.1% experiencing controlling behavior and 13.6% threatening behavior. So amongst the males, we've got 49.9% experiencing controlling and 27.1% experiencing threatening behavior and 5.8% online sexual violence. So once upon a time, we used to think, oh, it was only women or young girls that may be experiencing abuse. But we also see that boys are also experiencing it as well. But this study shows that dating relationship violence is becoming normalized. It's becoming normalized amongst young people in the sense that, you know, it's like it's common for them to be hitting and pushing and you know, punch. Oh, where's my screen gone? I hope you can still hear me. My screen has gone blank. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, I'm back. Yeah. Yeah. So just something I just want to share just quickly. I remember years and years ago, I was working at a college, and I remember when I left the college, I was coming out and I saw a young black girl and a young black boy. The young girl passed the black boy, and as she passed him, she literally just whacked him over his head for no apparent reason. And I don't know if that's just the way they communicate. To me, that was quite astonishing. And the boy just literally walked off. Now, I don't think they're in a relationship, but I think that behavior of violence, just hitting, was quite normal for her to do. And so for me, it really is about teaching young people that violence is never okay. It's never okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna just skip through some. This one I want to share in terms of some statistics and more stats in terms of the lack of awareness and the abuser. So in terms of three main types. So lack of awareness, in only 67% of adolescents who were abused in a relationship tell someone. So there's not, you know, there's lots of young people that might be experiencing some form of dating relationship violence and don't talk about it, don't tell their parents, may tell a friend, or may just keep it to themselves. 1 in 3 high school students have been in an abusive relationship, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal, you know, whether it's sexual. Yeah, 80% of girls who have been abused keep dating the same abuser. Yeah. And I was once there years and years ago as a teenager, hence the reason I developed the Safely in Love program, which is to teach young people about healthy and safe relationships. So 3 main types. 1 in 5 will experience emotional abuse, 1 in 3 sexual abuse, and 1 in 11 physical abuse. So the different types of abuse, we look at threats of harm to you or to themselves. So for example, somebody that may be experiencing abuse, you know, their partner may be threatening them, or even threatening self-harm, as in, if you leave me, then I'm going to do this to myself. You know, there's aspects of intimidation, you know, sly comments, you know, putting someone down so that you don't feel worthy, you know, this whole stuff around controlling behavior. And there's also something called gaslighting that's kind of emerged on the scene now. I mean, I think it was there before, but now there's a name to it in terms of how abuse can, you know, people can manipulate their power and control within a relationship. So things like betrayal, lying to you, twisting the truth to make you feel like you're the one to blame. Oh, and I see a little spelling error there, but anyway. So yeah, so just lots of different areas in terms of red flags for people that are, or young people that are potentially in abusive relationships. So let's look at some of those just quickly. Signs that your teen may be, signs that your teen is being abused. So things like unexplained bruises, broken bones, sprains or marks on their bodies, feelings of guilt or shame for no apparent reason. You know, you might have a young person that could be withdrawn from friends or family and even quite secretive. Another sign could be that they could be playing truant, not, you know, attending social events or, you know, being around their family, always making excuses that don't seem to make sense or add up, and, you know, checking in with their partners before they make a decision. So these are just some of the signs in terms of identifying whether you think your young person is in an abusive relationship. So people who are abused often feel like it's their fault. Feel that it's their fault, that they ask, and also that they feel that they've kind of asked for it. And, you know, one thing I would say is that, you know, if you've experienced, or if a young person has experienced any form of abuse, it's never their fault. And also it's for them to understand that it's, you know, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be in a relationship like that or to stay in such a relationship. And I think lots of young people feel that they're in love. And so they stay in these relationships because the partner may say, and I'm saying it could be boy or girl, you know, that individual could say, oh, I love you, and apologize and say, I'm sorry. And if you're in love, you take them back. But, you know, love does not hurt. You know, if we really understand the meaning of love, you know, people that are hurt are also hurting people. So for me, I always think about, you know, what have they experienced? What have they seen? Have they grown up in a household where they've experienced abuse themselves? Have they seen maybe a mum, a dad, an auntie, a relative experiencing some form of domestic violence or domestic abuse and see that as normal? So then they go out to perpetuate that themselves or live out that kind of behavior. So with the work I do, I absolutely believe that everybody deserves a healthy and safe relationship, every single body. And so within the program that I deliver, the Safely in Love program, there's a number of things that we cover in there. So it's a 6 weeks program, and it's teaching young people about how to stand up for yourself and still be popular. Yeah, so this is all about them using their voice, learning how to say no, speaking up, being able to express themselves, to talk about stuff that they are experiencing. Week 2, we look at what you should know about healthy and unhealthy relationships. And this is where we kind of get them to decipher what they consider to be a healthy or unhealthy relationship. And we do different things within that. Week 3, developing supportive and successful relationships, the support system that they have around them, things that they can do within themselves in terms of what is respect. And if you respect yourself, other people will respect you. You demonstrate that by using your voice and setting clear boundaries. And also week 4, sharing your heart wisely. Now this, we talk about sexual consent and rape, because, and the program that I have, the Safely in Love program, is not just for girls, it's also for boys. So there's a boys program and there's a girls program. When we look at sexual consent and rape, it's really, really important, especially for the boys, because sometimes boys may, if they're with a girl, they may, if a girl says, no, I don't want to go further, or I want you to stop, because they are dating, the boy may see that as, well, you're my girlfriend, and pursue things even further. So it's about teaching young boys as well, what the law says about what rape and what sexual consent is. And so for me, this is quite key and a key part of this Safely in Love program. Week 5, we look at, getting comfortable in your body. And this is all about building that confidence and self-esteem. And this is for both boys and girls. And then, expressing yourself positively, even in difficult conversations. And that could be about talking about maybe something you've experienced that you haven't told anybody, and just being able to use your voice. So that's the Safely in Love program that I cover, and I deliver that in schools around London, specifically to people that look like me. And the learning outcomes is really about developing respect, value, love, and care. Because I'm sure everybody that goes into a relationship potentially feels that this relationship is going to last, we're going to be together forever, and so forth. But there are certain things that you need to know. There are certain things that you need to develop in yourself and understand, so that you can have a successful relationship. So within that, we look at developing their critical thinking as part of decision making. Yeah. Develop awareness of the body language, their personal appearance and space, which I think is crucial. And also it's about understanding the reasons of delaying sexual activity and the benefits of that, so that people don't feel pressured into, just being with somebody and being intimate in that way if they're not ready. And also we, to be gained from, we look at things like, unwanted pregnancy, and increased learning to enable learners to make informed decisions based on their understanding of differences within, an absence of prejudice, and also developing an appreciation of consequences and choices made, and also managing conflict. So I've kind of talked about the program. I'm not going to go into details. What I do want to share is some of the testimonies that, some of the young people have said through doing this program. So we had a young girl. So she has said, this session clicked with me the most. So she's talking about, controlling relationships. Now I have a proper understanding of what it looks like and what could happen behind closed doors. Then we have another young girl who says, the LiveWise program has improved my confidence, not only with the girls around me, but also in general. My biggest aha moment was when we did the body confidence session. Yeah. So with girls, you know, part of this program is also teaching them about being confident and that body confidence. We had another young girl who says, I've learned to respect myself and set clear boundaries with other people. I am now able to speak out and say what I feel. And which is really, really important, because some of the stuff that this young girl was telling me I was quite shocked. But the fact that she was able to learn something from this program and was able to set clear boundaries, to me, I feel, you know, job well done. So now we've got some boys. So a young boy says, it helped me to remember that every girl should be treated with respect. Now, this was a fool for me, because listening to him talk in terms of things that he was accustomed doing after the program, he had now learned to treat girls with respect. That's now sunken in his head in terms of how he knows he needs to be treating, you know, his peers, other girls around him. Another young young boy, this program helped me to see how girls feel if treated badly and what not to do. I now know better. So this is all part and parcel of the work we do, and you know, young people are really gaining some form of understanding in terms of what a healthy and safe relationship looks like. Now, I do have a program that is going to be starting in January. So it's going to be January the 16th. I will put the link in. So for any parents who might be interested in, you know, registering your child or your young person to partake in the program, then please, you know, register, or you can contact me. So I've got some contact details here. In terms of reaching out to me if you want to find out any more information about the program. And so that's going to be for 6 weeks. It's going to be online. Obviously, because of COVID now, the Safely in Love program is being delivered online as well in schools. So for parents who might be interested, you know, to register their child independently, I'm actually doing a discounted rate for those that might be on this chat. And the link is here. I'm going to pop it in the chat. And yeah, so that's what I do at the LiveWise Foundation in relation to the Safely in Love program. So thanks, Joan.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Victoria. You're doing absolutely amazing work. You know, so there's lots of different, as you can see, lots of different organisations tapping into our young people. So, you know, as I said, you know, please post your contact details into the chat. If anybody has any particular questions for Victoria or any of the presenters, please post that also into the chat. And could I just pick up from the first presentation with Jackie and Lilia, there is a young person on the platform who wants to say a few words to us about their involvement in the Urban Synergy programme. So is Damien there?
Diaman. It's Diaman. Hi, Diaman. Right, it's Leila. Yeah, Diaman's going to speak. Thank you. He's one of our past mentees, and known him from the age of maybe 14 years old. And he's now working at one of those FTSE 100 companies working in technology. And Diaman also, you know, young people have joined our program because of Diaman. So because they've seen a change in Diaman. But Diaman's going to share his story, his journey. Okay, Diaman, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, all right, cool. Thank you, Leila, and thank you, Joan, I think.
Yes.
It's really, like, it's very coincidental the way everything I've heard today, like, comes in together to shape up pretty much more or less how my journey with Urban Synergy began. Because I think Paulette, I think she's left now. I see she left at the top. She spoke about the exclusion rates and the problems she sees that occur within the youth and how they're not really treated fairly in the education system and whatnot. I was also, I don't know, I'd say a victim. Yeah, I was also a victim of that because early secondary years, I was getting excluded and suspended all the time, really. I felt like I was treated unfairly, and to be frank with you, from year 9 right up to year 11, had Urban Synergy not come just on the brink of time, I think they might have really done away with me at school. When I joined in with Urban Synergy taught me life skills and career skills, like right from early. So whilst everybody else was worrying about the GCSE, I was trying to think of how to make myself a CV and a decent enough profile for when I actually leave school, like what college holds for me and what kind of career path it was going to take me down. Joining Urban Synergy was like joining a second family. It was very welcoming and whatnot. Obviously, rest in peace, Paul, man, because Paul is one of the very great personalities and people I ever met in both my life. Excuse me. And
sorry, so the last presenter, can you take down the presentation, please? So
that is actually Diaman.
Is that Diamonds? Is it Diamonds?
It's actually Diaman with Usain Bolt. That is Diaman.
Ah, okay,
That's
okay.
why. Yeah, that's
all right.
Diaman.
Sorry, my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. Carry on, Diaman.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, obviously rest in peace, Paul, man. Like, huge respect to Paul and everything. He was one of the standout people that I met, like literally on joining Urban Synergy and whatnot. But as a whole, yeah, Urban Synergy as a family, community, organization, really did kickstart the turnaround for my life. And, you know, I've heard people in this call speak about the young people. I even heard that inspirational speech from, in fact, everyone's speech was inspirational, the 100 Black men and whatnot. I know Paul was involved in that heavy. He spoke about that all the time. The lady spoke about, in fact, there was a lot of things, man. There was a lot of things. And you know what? The whole technology thing, how these people are, like, mostly young Black people are like a bit frightened and discouraged to join technology companies. Myself, about a year ago, I joined literally a mechanic kind of apprenticeship. And because of that, I began to think like, you know what, maybe I don't want to do this. And in fact, I think I'm going to go for like exactly what she said, software engineering and whatnot, because you know what, I want to be part of the future. But prior to that, I'll be so frank with you, I see the coding stuff and I thought, this is like what you see in the movies and whatnot. This looks very difficult. But you know what, with the constant encouragement from my family, from Urban Synergy and whatnot, I managed to land myself in a degree apprenticeship with a top tech company about this year. And you know what, it's a great feeling because, you know, there's not much people of color in those kind of companies and whatnot. So it feels great when you manage to break in and leave a good impression and whatnot. So it's almost like, yeah, everything that has been spoken about today literally is kind of what Urban Synergy is about. Urban Synergy does all of this, and Urban Synergy like ensures that, you know, the young people don't go for want or lack in anything, more or less. As you can see, I'm in a picture of Usain Bolt. I didn't think I'd ever meet him, ever. I met quite a lot of people with Urban Synergy. I met a lot of millionaires. Yeah, you know, it's been a great journey, and I know it's the only way is up, you know.
Diaman's mentor was somebody that works at Oracle. I don't know if you're not in technology. Oracle is one of those tech giants that we talk about. He's a DBA, database administrator. So Diaman's, you know, you can talk about the impact of that mentor, right, Diaman?
Oh, most definitely.
And the connections with the company as well, yeah.
The connections with Urban Synergy?
Well, connections with, obviously, via your mentor, the impact of your mentor.
Of course, yeah. You know what? My mentor was, he's at Oracle, I believe. He started mentoring me about when I was in year 10, preparing for my GCSEs. And you know what? I used to see him bring his work sometimes, and I thought, you know what? This is wild. Like, what is it you're doing? I asked him a couple of times, but do you know what it is? Yeah, although my grades were amazing or whatever, not to blow my own trumpet, but I just felt like, yeah, I've never seen this before. I don't think I can handle this kind of stuff really. But you know what? It turns out in the end that, like, you know, you gotta start from somewhere. So he actually played another big role in, you know, introducing me to the technology side. As well as that, you know, just having a mentor in general, it can do a lot, man. It can do a lot. It shows the young people, like, speaking on their behalf, that there is quite a lot, like, there is more to life, man, than the usual things, man. That, you know what, don't get me wrong, people that dream for sport, football, rapping, or whatever, I say this every time I talk, it's not a problem to have those dreams, but there is more to it than that. Like, there are high paid jobs or whatever, there are interesting careers, there is the future, and there is, like, more to it than that, is what Urban Synergy lets people know. Because, you know, there's quite a lot of careers I come across and you know what, what I usually say also is, the words of a mentor, the words of guidance from any elder or any experienced person could cause a snowball effect to change in a young person's life. And I think, yeah, that's more or less all Urban Synergy is about, really. So yeah, I'll just say that you can definitely sorry, pardon, the young people can definitely benefit quite a lot from Urban Synergy. Indeed.
Thank you, Diamond. That was to hear from a young person who's lived through an experience like that, and to be given such fantastic opportunities, and the opportunities are out there for all. That's why, you know, I'm really kind of like putting out a big cry. Please get involved in these organizations, you know, get your young people, steer them in the right direction, get them away from the Xbox and all the TV propaganda. That's what I call it. You know, steer them in the right direction, get them into, you know, activities, engage them in programs. We have got some phenomenal young people. They just need guidance and just to tap into the right resources which are out there. So thank you very, very much, Diamond. Fantastic. And I'm so proud of you. You're like my son. Let me adopt you. You are doing amazingly well. Well done. Well done. And Urban Synergy, you know, this is just a key classic example of the work that you're doing. Well done. Fantastic. And what I'm actually thinking, what I might do, probably, but it might be in a couple of weeks' time, couple of months' time, I really want you guys to actually bring the young people onto the platform and let us hear what it is they're doing, yeah, and the work. Yeah. Let's go a bit deeper into this, because what it is about,
and then somebody can bring one of their young people to come along and listen.
Yes,
so we can bring our little nieces, our nephews that are age, especially that 16 to 18, drag them along.
Exactly.
We lead, they follow, and they're very impressionable.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'll do that if that's the deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. You know, because just hearing Diamond speak, and he's just one person in how many hundreds of young people across all the different organizations on this platform this morning.
Yeah.
You know,
they need access to jobs. It's money. That's what they need access to, and they need the network that helps them.
Well, I mean, this is just 5 organizations. How many other organizations out there doing the same or similar work to each of you? Yeah. So we just, like, you know, it's about creating platforms to showcase the work that we're doing. And you guys are doing absolutely amazing work. You know, I give God thanks for you, seriously. You know, because I know there are some parents, carers, you know, they've got a young person, and even especially with this lockdown now, you know, I mean, you guys, all of you are delivering things online.
Yeah.
So it's to know, right, how do I tap in? How can I get my young person interested in this or interested in that?
Yeah.
And not everybody's academic, you know, there could be other things they could be engaging with.
But we got, you know, I know they spoke about the Black Pound, you know, we need to invest in our own, you know, it's not easy for now 100 Black men and the organizations, you know, that are dealing in the community We have never received a grant from anywhere, you know, not for we've tried, but it takes more time to try and write a grant than even get one. So we've never received one out of the whole 13 years. We all invest into our own charity. And we actually, for the DBSs, we take care of payment. Mentors don't pay for it, we take care of it. So that's how I was brought up. And I know all of us on this call were brought up like our parents used to work together, used to live in the same house, cook food when they had party for each other. Yeah. So we need to make sure we're investing that money into our communities. If you're not investing into the community, you need to take action. Even if it's 1 penny, you've got to do something.
Absolutely.
Don't underestimate that impact that will make. Well, I'm surprised about how far Urban Synergy has gone with my little pound. So don't underestimate it. Don't think you can't make a difference. Yeah.
I know. Thank you, my darling. I've just read 10 o'clock. Right, let's speed on.
Okay.
Dana.
Hello, morning.
Hi. Sorry, my darling. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you for asking. And you?
Good. Founder and CEO of Renegade Business. Dana,
yes.
A leading entrepreneur who has been featured on the BBC and spoken at the House of Commons. But I'm not going to steal your luck because I know you're going to tell us a whole wealth of things. So,
it's okay.
Girlfriend, kick it.
So, good morning, everybody. If you're still wide awake, if you're still with us, please drop a fire emoji in the chat. It has been so emotional listening to everybody. It has been informative. I've been here taking notes. I'm a prolific note taker. So I encourage everybody. Thank you, Jane B. Someone still awake and still listening. If you haven't grabbed a notepad, pen, your laptop, a book, please grab one now because I like to give value and always leave people with practical tips. But before we go on, I know we've gone slightly over time. So thank you for everyone who is still with us. Thank you, Sophie Davis. Because we've all been probably sitting down for a little while, what I want to do is a really quick activity that we do with our clients at Renegade Business, and everything that we do is patented and trademarked. Just thought I'd let you know. Thank you for all of the speakers thus far. I had an idea of what I was going to speak about this morning, have completely thrown that out the window since listening to all the incredible speakers. So what comes out of my mouth in the next kind of 10 minutes or so, I don't even know, but strap in and enjoy the ride. So I'm going to ask you to do 2 really simple things that might seem quite strange, but there is method to this madness. We've been talking about young people and how we can help young people and how we can all thrive. And one of the things that we're constantly telling our young people is that they need to be focused and they need to not allow distractions to get in their way. If anybody's with me on that, are we telling our young people that they need to stay focused and that they can't let distractions come in their way because that's going to be counterintuitive? Anyone who agrees with that message in the chat box, please say yes. Yes, that is one thing we're always telling our young people. Stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. Now, the business is called Renegade. So we're Renegade by name and Renegade by nature. So we actually believe that positive distraction is a force for good, okay? So actually scheduling when you are going to distract yourself and utilizing, thank you everyone, thank you Jennifer, thank you Talkraise, when you need to. So what I'm going to ask you to do is simply open your mouth until you yawn. Open your mouth until you yawn. I want to see those Colgate smiles. Open your mouth until you yawn. So I have just yawned. I don't know about you. The reason I asked you to do that is because when we have been sitting and focused, we start to feel a little bit slumped. Our mind starts to wander and concentration starts to wane. Opening your mouth until you yawn allows your body to get an influx of oxygen, which then gives you a little bit more of an awake feeling. Agree with me if you're feeling a little bit more awake now than you were 2 minutes ago before I asked you to yawn. I know it sounds crazy. There is good science and data to back this up. You can Google that after you come off the platform. The other thing I want to do, normally I would tell people to now get up on the spot and run for 30 seconds, but I know someone on it ain't got no bottoms on, so I'm not gonna ask you to do that. All I'm gonna ask you to do is literally move your arms up and down really quickly. And if you can do it fast enough that you actually start to feel like you are getting out of breath, then do that. So just for about another 20 seconds, move your arms up and down, really, really, really quickly. And what you should start to feel is that you're getting out of breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay, so your heartbeat should be going faster than it was about 3 minutes ago. And I just got a bit puffed there. Everybody still with me? Give me a yes in the chat box. That is how you use positive distraction to help you refocus. So we've just got an influx of oxygen. We've just raised our heartbeat. What we know and what science tells us is when we have more oxygen flowing around the body, once we've engaged in some exercise, that helps our mind open to take in new information. Okay, so I hope we're now a little bit more wider awake and that you are still with me. So as Joan said, my name is Dana Byfield. As said at the top of the session, I'm a mum of 2. I have a 6-year-old and a 19-year-old. Yes, I know I do not look old enough to have a 19-year-old, but I can assure you I am well and old enough, but I was a very young mum. I'm married, I run a number of businesses and enterprises. As I said, I completely threw out everything that I was gonna say. I just have not stopped yawning. That's good, because you're getting that oxygen in, all right? The brain synapses, so our brain connections, will now start to fire up more. You should feel a little bit more wise awake now, and that you can actually now refocus and pay attention. So I thought long and hard about what I was going to say today. And like I said, completely threw that out. So our young people are our the greatest resource that we have, okay? The next generation coming up behind us. And one of the reasons I decided to throw out what I was going to talk about this morning is because for me, listening to all of the speakers, there was a common theme. And the common theme was about interdependence. And I call interdependence very, very, very circular. Now we can talk about all the challenges all day long that our young people have. And, you know, just so grateful. I don't know if I'm going to get this wrong. Is it Diamond for speaking and giving his testimony? Because he really so nicely wrapped up what I was thinking. So this circular nature of things, I like to call interdependence, right? Now, as a community, especially our women, we are taught to be independent. And there is nothing wrong with being able to hold your own, do your own, and have your own. So please don't misunderstand me. But all successful people are interdependent, okay? Because they understand that they have to operate in their area of strength, their area of greatness, their area of gifting, and then they work with other people who are working in their area of strength, working in their area of greatness, and working in their area of gifting. The only people that are not able to do that are people that are traumatized. People that are traumatized by their life experiences, where life has told them they cannot trust anybody else, right? So what they do is they seek to be independent. So once upon a time, I would never ask anybody for help and support because I had to be strong. I had to do it all on my own, and I've been burnt so many times. But what independence does is it strips you of other people's superpowers. And as Joan said, she believes in we're stronger together. And as Michael said, together we can. So throughout all of the speakers that we've heard this morning, there is some theme and some connection to working together. So Diamond spoke so beautifully about the impact that his mentor had on him, going from somebody who thought that what that mentor did was too hard, not for him, not something I can achieve. But through the circular nature of the interdependence with Urban Synergy, with his mentor from Oracle, with that network, with that access, with that positive role modeling, because as Michael said, what we see is what we will be. He was able to make a change in his thinking. His thinking then made a change in his feelings then made a change in his actions, And then his actions made a change in his outcomes. And I will circle back round to the psychology of performance a little bit later. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about Renegade Business. So we are a business consulting and coaching organization that helps time-poor, ambition-rich entrepreneurs really break free from being the center of their universe. So what does that mean for us? That means that successful business owners, a lot of the time, are joined at the hip to their business. So they can't have a holiday, they're stressed out, etc., etc. So we come with coaching, consulting, and other services such as an interim executive service that we run, which allows an interim part-time ad hoc CEO to come in and run their company, run their business while they take a much needed holiday, while they take much needed time out to work on their business as opposed to in their business. I will be dropping a link into the chat in a moment with regards to a webinar that we have coming up next week, Friday, for people who want to learn more about what we do. I'm going to drop our website and a couple of other links as well. One of the things that was mentioned earlier in regards to finance was that Black and minority ethnic individuals are more likely to have a degree than anybody else. And one of the discussions that we as a board were having at Renegade Business is how the business of education very much benefits from the business of racism. And I say those words together very carefully. So how the business of education benefits from the business of racism, because be under no illusion, racism is business, and it is very big business. And if you can get people to think that they are not capable, if you don't show people like them, so there is no relationship, and they have a low self-esteem, the cycle continues. So the business of racism, and unfortunately we are the main casualties on this world, is an economic business. It's not about I don't like you because of what you look like or where you come from, etc., etc. Those are personal devices that people use. That's prejudice and discrimination, which anyone can practice. We need to understand a thing before we can deal with a thing. One of the other things that we believe at Renegade Business is the rise of the global small business. Technology has opened up avenues that anyone, anywhere in the world can literally today set up a business online and compete with large multinational businesses by having a small team of 20 or less scattered all around the globe, really living a life of purpose and running a business of purpose. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about this morning was the psychology of performance. Listening to Diamen, listening to the testimonials from Paulette, from Michael, and everyone that has spoken this morning, I wanted to leave in true Renegade fashion something really practical that each and every one of us can pick up, A, for ourselves, and B, when we're dealing, teaching, working, talking with our young people and indeed our friends, family, and colleagues. The psychology of performance dictates 4 things, okay? So I want you to take a note. The first one is ability, the second one is effort, the third one is luck, and the fourth one is nature. So psychology of performance, I want number 1, ability, number 2, effort, number 3, luck, and number 4, nature of the task. And we go as follows. When we perform a task, okay, we will judge the outcome of that task on a number of things, all right? So if we believe, for example, that we are good at sport and we do well in sport, we will link that to our ability and we will say, oh, well, I did really well in that football match because I'm a great footballer, right? Conversely, for example, if we have a high self-esteem and we believe in our ability and we don't do well on a task, we will now move to what is, oh, well, I didn't put enough effort in. The reason I only got X amount on my driving test or I didn't pass was simply because I didn't put in the effort. So number 1, so someone's asking me, can I repeat the action? So number 1 is your ability to do a task. So for example, I'm really good at singing. So I believe I have a high ability in that area. Number 2 is effort. So it's the effort that I put into a task which breeds the results. Okay. Number 3 is luck. This has happened simply because I'm lucky. And number 4 is the nature of the task. So a task is easy or a task is hard. When we have a high self-esteem, we sit in those top 2, ability and effort. I did this well because I'm able. I didn't do so well because I didn't put enough effort in, because underlying, you're welcome, Mary, I know I'm able. When we have a low self-esteem or a fractured self-esteem, yes, we start to sit in the bottom two. I did well on a task because it was luck, all right? I did well on a task because it was easy. The psychology of performance, Sonia, the psychology of performance. So each individual who is high performing will sit themselves in the top two. Now, why did I throw everything out of the window and mention this today? Because whether it's our young people or whether it's ourselves, our psychological construct of the people that we are and who we sit on this planet has been purposely eroded so that we put ourselves in the bottom two, i.e. this went well because I'm lucky, or this went well because it was easy. And conversely, I can't do this because it's too hard. I can't do maths, or as Diamen felt before previously, luckily he's changed. That's not for me because it's too hard. So understanding that the business of racism is an economic business, and that actually there are people who, for very good, sound, unethical reasons, want you to be in the bottom two, as a philosophy and something that I can leave that's positive with you this morning, is that always judge your outcomes from a place of your ability or effort. Never because I'm lucky, or never because the task was easy or hard. People that have high self-esteem, even in those moments when we are struggling, will always defer to my ability and will always defer to our effort. So when we're dealing with our young people, we need to always make sure that we are buffering their esteem, because you will never be able to overcome your level of self-esteem. We can give you all the teaching, we can give you all the coaching, we can give you all the strategies, all of the networks. If you don't believe in your ability and your ability to put in effort, you will never do the work that is required, like Diamen did, to change their mindset. So now 2 tips on how you can actually increase your self-esteem. So I was talking to an amazing woman called Bianca Bass recently, and she was saying to me that what she does when she's going about her day is take positive data points from things that she's been able to achieve. Now, what does that mean? So something that's gone really well, I'm going to take an inventory of that and say, this is something that went really well. The meeting went well. I had a great conversation with my son or daughter or my mentee. The outcome of that project went well. And even if the overarching experience, for example, I put in, a bid for finance and it doesn't come back successfully, actively looking to catch ourselves doing things well. The human mind is wired to be negative 85% of the time, right? So if we're actually looking to catch ourselves doing things well, what we then is store up a bank of experiences that, especially when we're feeling challenged, we can now refer to. We can refer to the fact that that funding bid was a well-structured and put together bid. We can refer to that great conversation we had with our mentee, mentor, child partner. We can refer to those positive times. So actively making yourself think about things that are positive increases your self-esteem and then gives you a much better ability to stay in those top 2 areas of ability and effort. I am able, I just need to put in a different effort. It might not be more effort, it might be a different effort. So this morning is me, Dana Byfield. I know we've gone so over. Please drop in the chat what you've liked best about what you've heard from me this morning. I'm going to drop how I can be contacted as well. Guys, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. I was so emotional when Michael played that video of Paul Lawrence. I just wanted to extend our family and business condolences to obviously Paul Lawrence's family and all of the people that are in his circle that love him. And the circle continues of interdependence. So Paul has sown seeds into so many people that the cycle continues positively. And legacy sometimes isn't just about what we're able to acquire in physical means. It's about what we leave behind in the people that we impact. Most of our legacy we will never know about because it will come to fruition long after we're gone. So thank you, Joan. You're an absolute queen. You're an absolute star. And please do feel free, everybody, to reach out. I'm going to copy and paste my contact details and pop them in the group. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. And please do let me know what you liked best about what you heard this morning. And that is me over and out. I'm literally just copy and pasting now.
Thank you, Dana. Can I just quickly ask you,
yes,
why do you think there are more of our young people wanting to work for themselves? And is that realistic?
Give me just 1 second, because the other thing that I didn't mention is that, you know, my intelligence manifests in so many different ways. One of them definitely isn't academic or technology, but listening definitely is one of those. Why so many young people, I believe, are wanting to at least explore entrepreneurship is because they don't want to be what they've seen. And I say this with all due respect, having grandparents who came here from the Caribbean to build up the mother country. My mum and dad were born here, not elsewhere in the world. Young people are looking at what has been left for them, the lack of what's been left for them, how their parents and family members are living. They're listening to the conversations that are going on about, I'm not appreciated in the workplace. I'm not getting to where I know my potential can be. They don't have money, they don't have resources, they don't have refinance, they don't have finances, they're not happy, they're not living a fulfilled life, they're literally going to work, or they're self-employed. People, there's a big difference between having a business and being self-employed when you're doing all the work. That's another thing we need to do. We need to scale our business operations and have systems so we can have a holiday if we feel like it, God forbid. You know, working hard is not the goal here. Doing what we need to do for a season is the goal, and everything else will manifest from that. So they're looking at what has been left for them. Thank you, Barbara. And they're looking into the future. Do I want to do this for 30, 40, 50, 60 years? Hell no. I know that a lot of people are quite negative about millennials. They're entitled, and, you know, I think Generation X and Generation Y, they're lazy, they're entitled, they don't want to work hard, etc., etc. No, in my opinion, and in our opinion, one of the things that we do at Renegade Businesses, we have our own in-house research department. So we're not just talking about things that all sound nice, we're talking about research that we've commissioned into the labour market, where opportunities are, and the different attitudes to work and career that younger people under the age of 20, right the way up to people who are, you know, in retirement age have. And their whole thing is, this mess ain't for me. And that unfortunately leads a lot of our young people to do things that they think easy money, quick money, that may be illegal, because I don't want to be working a job like you did for 30 or 40 years and be miserable and be unhappy. So we need to give people, as Michael said, we need to show them different ways. I walk around half of the time in a tracksuit, hoodie and trainers. I am not the archetype of a CEO. I didn't do very well at school. I don't have any formal qualifications past A-levels, right? Went to university a bunch of times. I love education. My husband has 3 degrees, he's on the 4th. Right, but it's education for what purpose? What are we teaching these young people to do? Just pass exams and that's it. I know some incredible teachers, some incredible people that are in the education profession. But education, like everything else, is just a business. And our young people, as the presentation in Synergy showed, their degree qualification, they cannot access in the labour market. How many people do we know that said, I'm working, but I'm not really using my degree? Or it took me so long to actually access the labour market with that degree. So they're looking for other alternatives. And as I said earlier, we believe that something called the global small business is going to be what our young people are going to do next. They're sitting in their bedroom and they've got someone working for them that's in Sierra Leone, someone else that's in India, someone else that's in Algeria, and someone else that's in Jamaica. Because the mean salary for somebody in Jamaica, the average salary for a Jamaican at the moment is 450 UK pounds per month. If you look at somewhere like Sierra Leone, you know, if people were getting paid 150 pounds a month, they'd be lucky.
Yeah.
And yes, there are good reasons for that, but there are highly skilled, motivated, and ambitious people in the diaspora all over the world that as a global small business, you can tap into. We are going to be fostering a partnership with universities in Sierra Leone and Jamaica to find that talent that's gone to university, but what's at the other end of the road. Now to your question about whether it's viable, technology has been the most playing field leveler in the last 100 years. It allows someone like me, who was a teenage mum, who was on benefits, who got evicted from my home, who at the age of 23 didn't have a penny or anything to pee in, who went on a course through the job centre at the age of 25, was offered off the back of a 30-minute presentation that I did to their new students, still unemployed at the age of 25, a directorship on the spot. So Friday I was unemployed, Monday I was a director of an organisation. It allows someone like me who has talent, who's passionate, to exercise the global opportunities. And we need to be telling our young people, regardless of what we have done, that they can do it too. Exactly. Because the same way we're going to Google the next Yeezy trainers that come out, if you don't have a network and you have a passionate young person that may have some challenges and issues and maybe got themselves into a bit of trouble, you have a brewing entrepreneur there because they think differently. And that is what is going to push this world forward. People that think differently, not like everybody else, people that can solve problems. So just Google, go onto LinkedIn, find someone that can mentor your child, like Diamond was mentored through Urban Synergy. So I think it's as realistic as anything else. And don't worry if it's not what you've done and you don't know it and you don't understand that world. Don't be a barrier to your child's success because what they want is different from what you did. They're not rejecting you. They're not rebuking you. They're not saying that what you do isn't valid and it isn't good. Because as parents, and I've got a 19-year-old, I know this, we get in our feelings when we feel that we're being rejected. And a lot of us have issues to deal with that we need to overcome so that we can support our children, irrespective of what our road has been. We need to support them and put them in touch with other people who can help them move forward, even if that's not our thing. Just because it's not for us doesn't mean it can't be for them, because the revolution ain't going to be televised. The revolution is online, is on the internet. It's going on now. It's going on in the world. 30 years ago, there was no Google. It takes about 20 to 30 years to catch up with technology. The TV came in, it was about 20 or 30 years until people had it in their homes. Mobile phones used to be used by business owners only. Now everyone's got a smartphone that half the time makes you blasted dunce, right? But allows us to do things like this. Cloud computing only came out in 2008. It will be another 20, 30 years until we really see that come into its own, right? Social media has only really been around since 2004. Look how influencer marketing has changed the world already. And again, we haven't even seen the height of that. So encourage your young people, make them have good self-esteem, make them judge themselves by their ability and effort, and not because they're lucky, etc., etc. That's me done. I've heard everybody love
darling. Another powerful
fire emojis.
Powerful. Fantastic. Thank you very much, my darling. I can see we're well over time. But let me quickly jump to Nadia. Nadia, are there any particular questions or themes coming through the chat, please, darling?
Oh my God, this has been so emotional. All of the speakers have been fantastic. This is a platform that we need to ensure is shared everywhere. And the sort of things, this is one of the things that was put in the chat. It takes a village to raise a child. And that is so true that we need to definitely make sure that that goes forward. So there wasn't a lot of questions, just congratulations. Just basically everybody has just been so excited about being on this platform and getting the information that they have. So this is a platform where all the speakers, the information that you put on the platform, everyone must get it, must share it, and start to build that community that we want from each other. This is a community that is needed for our young people to drive us forward. So the sort of things that I picked up from this is that work smarter, not harder, that collaboration. Oh, somebody asked, what is gaslighting? Sorry, so that was for, gaslighting was mentioned. Was it, no, it wasn't Victoria. Somebody said gaslighting.
Victoria was talking.
Yes, yeah. So gaslighting is when you're with somebody and they literally twist everything you say, so it makes out like you are the one that is wrong or you're going crazy. So it's tied in with manipulation and just, you know, things that they have done, but they twist it to make it look like you're the one that's in the wrong. This is a type of manipulation and abuse that goes on in relationships.
Excellent. So that's answered that. Oh, someone did ask, what is Power Ranger? Yeah, what is Power Ranger? Is it one of those?
A toy, a film.
A toy, film?
$1 million franchise.
That would be, yeah, Power Rangers. It's a thing from back in, I think, the 90s. It's a children's program and it's still going strong, unfortunately, or fortunately for some.
I'm just looking to see if there's any more.
When you have your children just kind of like sitting and watching the TV and they think, it's as if they see it as some kind of reality. So like I said, when my grandson said to me, you know, right, he wants to be a Power Ranger, I said, no, that has to change. That has to change. So hence why, I mean, I got him into football because he likes football. It's about engaging them in some kind of activity, whether it's academic or vocational, yeah, or tapping them into some kind of program. Get them out of the TV, the Xbox, all the games, etc. Just being in their rooms, being isolated. There is so many activities, programs, etc. that our young people can get involved in. Yeah. And it's about the future. It's about the future because these programs will develop, you know, these are our future adults, future parents, you know, so being involved in the program will give them particular skills. I mean, to skill up our young people. I mean, we're not going to be around forever. So we need to empower our young people, get them educated, to pick up the baton, so to speak, and take all what are, you know, our parents that came from the Caribbean and Africa, what we're doing. They need to pick up the baton to take all what we're doing, take it forward. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like a fight. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep breaking those glass ceilings.
And once again, Joan, thank you very much for organising this platform. This is definitely a benefit to our community, and may we carry on with producing such good platforms going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you, my darling. Right, so this is an opportunity.
Okay, if I say one more thing.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah, because I saw a message come in the group talking about what does it mean to build your own economy. So I just wanted to break it down quite simply. Economy is just you can just say it's another way of like calling a system, somewhere where you're trading and have your own goods and practices in place. At the moment, we're living in someone else's economy, someone else's system. A lot of other races have managed to do this, and we did, as Black people, manage to build this in America, but obviously it was burnt down, and that was the Black Wall Street. And that's the kind of thing, when I'm saying build your own economy, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. We need to be in a situation where we have our own schools, our own hospitals, our own police, our own airports, all these kind of things, our own banks. That's the kind of thing that we need to be striving towards. And we have, like, many different races have different areas where they all live. Let's say, for example, like we might have Asians that live in places like Bradford, Ilford, those kind of places. But if you go to those kind of places, you'll see that they own everything there. If you talk about like the Jewish community, they have a lot of places in like North London or Northwest London that they're buying up all the houses and everything there. But if you go there again, you look at all the businesses that's owned by them. And then if you go to an area, let's say that's surrounded, has predominantly Black people in there, you go there and all the businesses are owned by everyone else. It don't make no sense. And we've got so many different places around London where it is predominantly Black. And when I go there, it just, for me, doesn't make sense. So it is about us uniting, and that's what I talk about building our economy. Everyone that's spoken today, I'd love to collaborate with you guys as well, so we can actually move forward. And in terms of mentoring, I have at the moment, I think I have about 12 young people that are under me as mentees, and the same message I say to all of them. I say, by the time you get to 25, I say to them, if you haven't achieved what I've achieved at my current age, at whatever age I'll be when they get to 25, then I've failed you. And this is what I see as part of mentoring. There's no way that they should be in the same place that I was at 25 when they're 25. It doesn't make sense. It means I failed. And it's the same with, I thought, wow, I'm not a parent yet, but I feel like it'll be the same as parenting. I would never want my child to be in the same place that I was, because I should have gone there, made all those mistakes, done all that. So now I can guide you to go and do better. And I do, the last person that spoke as well, I do believe, because I've seen it quite a few times, where it's actually the parent or the person who's their guardian that's blocking the young person from growing. And it's just because of maybe the way that they've been brought up. Let's say for example, I come from an African household. I was always told you have to go to university, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to be a doctor, accountant, blah blah. Okay, I ended up being an accountant anyway, but I didn't go through the traditional route. But if my mum wasn't open-minded, then it would have put a lot of pressure on me. So, for example, when it got to doing my accountancy, I was never good in the education system, let's say. So as soon as I did my GCSEs, I tried to do A-levels, and I knew it wasn't for me. So luckily there was an apprenticeships for accounting at the time, so I was able to go into that. But if my mum wasn't as open-minded, she would have pushed for me to do A-levels, university. I probably would not have got through it, to be honest. And then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. So I think that sometimes it does limit. But yeah, going back to the collaboration, I think it is definitely needed. I know for Urban Synergy, it's almost like we share one of the young people that go to Urban Synergy, which is Jonas. I know Jonas goes to Urban Synergy and he does the 100 as well. And if you look at that, without even meaning to, because we're all trying to do this, all trying to help him and help all the young people. If you look at where Jonas is now compared to where he was 3-4 years ago, it's ridiculous. 3-4 years ago, he was on the verge of getting kicked out of his school. Now he's an international youth speaker. He's been to America with the 100 to go and talk on his story and talk about things like when he was bullied when he was younger and how he acted out, how he feels in terms of coming up in a single parent household, and a lot of things that young people don't usually talk on as well, about emotional intelligence. So like a Jonas go and talk on that and how he feels that he's been told he has to act like a man, but then no one actually knows what a man's meant to do or things like that. So it's just about his journey and things like that. So I went on talking again for too long, more than what I was meant to say, but I just wanted to add that bit. But yeah, thank you again, Joe, for bringing us on.
Like I said, I mean, my vision is to, whether it be maybe, I don't know, in a few weeks' time or a few months' time, I've got to think about it, is to have the platform again with more organisations, but I actually want to see the young people. I want them to come and talk to us. It will touch parents, carers, etc. So you can see this is real. It's not just us as adults talking about it, because sometimes you have to see the thing, hear the thing to believe it. And we know that, you're all out there doing absolutely fantastic work.
Joan, sorry, a few people have direct messaged me. Thank you, everyone. The Eventbrite link that I popped in the chat, even if you don't have a business and you just want to come along and find out more about what we do, still some more gems, because we've always got the gems, please do sign up. So yes, it is focused on people that have a business, but if you don't have a business, you are still more than welcome to come and sign up to the event and, share it with your people as well. Just want to say that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If anybody has any questions to any of the presenters this morning, please put your hand up in the chat. quickly, because I am conscious of time, and you can ask a question. Any queries, anything you want further information about? Let me see. Awesome. Maxine Thomas, you've got your hand up. Hello, Maxine. Could you say where you're calling in from? Where are you calling in from, my darling?
Hello, my name is Maxine. I'm a master's student at the LSE, so I'm currently based in London, but I grew up in Milton Keynes, and I do public speaking on race equality in higher education. So how as students, as Black students, how we maximize our opportunities and how we can be empowered, and how we can change university processes so that they are more inclusive and that they facilitate Black students thriving. And my question was one of the earlier presentations when we were hearing about machine learning and big data. And I have sent an email, but I think it's a really interesting question. We were learning about this in my degree program literally a few weeks ago. And there's been a lot of focus on machine learning and big data learning for other communities, learning about Black people, right? And how Black people operate and how we navigate. But part of my question, or what I wanted to ask, is how do we use, and Renegade has been talking about our own data collection and the significance of our own research. How can we as a community trying to organize, maximize big data and machine learning for our own benefit, so that we're able to collect data to empower our own communities rather than other communities learning about us? And it's all well and good our young people getting into tech, but we need to be maximizing the tech for our own community. So I wanted to hear about people with that expertise, because I genuinely don't have it, but I'm interested to know, like, what are the next steps for us in terms of using these tools, these skills for the strengthening and benefit of our own community. Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Phenomenal question. Well done on your studies at the moment as well. So we look forward to seeing you shining even more, and beautiful picture. In terms of research and data and how we actually get to use that positively and monetize that ourselves, I think one of the first things that we need to do is actually to start understanding and relating to data ourselves in our everyday lives. Sometimes these themes are so overarching and they're all up here and they're for other people to do. Even the stats that Urban Synergy shared with us this morning in terms of our own community data. So I encourage everybody to go and Google source material so that you can start looking at data in your own lives. So for example, the income stats that were put up earlier, you can go onto Google and type in income by different communities, and direct.gov should pop up, and there will be tables. So making it a practice that we do it, then the next generation starts to do it, and then they see it as something that is normal. In our house, it's a normal conversation to have around data and statistics and metrics. Sometimes we have to stop waiting for everybody else to do it, and because we think it's too complicated, and just start to try and do it ourselves. That's the first layer. The second thing is that we need to start building on the organizations that we have so that they start to have their own research, because we're doing it anyway. We're doing it live, like 100 Black Men, for example. You guys will have research and data that not only we can use for ourselves, but as a global community that is very valuable. It's probably just not being captured in a meaningful way that can be shared or monetized by others. And what do I mean by that? Yesterday, I got an email from Experian, who's a credit reference agency, regarding a new service that they have started that business owners can tap into to get leads. Because they have all this wealth of data and information on people's credit scores, they pretty much know everything. So what they've now done, as of at least yesterday, is pivoted into the lead generation market. So just using 100 Black Men, because that was the thing that came to the top of my head. Think about the data and information that you all have gathered inadvertently over the last 20 years, and who that data can be valuable for in the diaspora all over the world, packaged in the right way, is another stream of income. But more importantly, it's another way where our own people can gain deeper understanding of who we are and how we operate, because we operate very differently to other people, other communities, and how they do their bits and pieces. So it's starting to look at our own data as a general course in daily life, so our children learn that as a practice. It's the organizations that we already have that are already collecting data, starting to collect that in a way. And when I say meaningful, just that it's accessible for us and other people, and then we can package and monetize that as well. Then we're able to start shaping policy. So if we know, for example, in our universities that there are stark inequalities when it comes to people who get a 2-2 and a 2-1, because we have data collections from different organizations, we can now present the data. Oftentimes our presentation is quite emotional and emotive. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but when we're dealing with each other and when we're dealing with other people, sometimes we need to strip back the emotion. One of the things that we do as an organization to promote fairness and equality in society is to talk about the road to the money, because most people don't care, but they care about the money. So if we can leverage and lean and say, well, actually, if your board was 25% female-led, 20% Black-led, this exponentially means that you are going to earn X amount, then you can get in the door with the conversation. Just about it being fair, unfortunately, isn't going to drive us forward. There's fish and there's bait. We need the right bait for the right fish. We can move forward. Hope that answers your question in the round.
Yeah, can I add something as well, which I think is really important when it comes to data, and I'm in technology. It's important that we encourage our young people from a young age. I'll give two examples. One is my son, and the other one is Diamond, because you heard him talking. If you didn't, Steph, my son didn't want to take up computer science in school, right? I think there's only 3 people in his class, and he said, it's too hard, mummy, no one's doing it. I said, if there's one thing, normally let him do what he wants to do, because I believe in that. But if there's one thing that I think you should do, is to study computer science. He kissed me at the end of his GCSEs this year, all right? Because he got A in computer science, right? All I can say to you is make sure your young people, technology isn't just a career now, it's a life skill. You need to make sure your young people can actually know and be comfortable with understanding how to read data. Because what they're doing now, everything you see on your phone, the adverts they're doing, it's reading, it's listening to you, what you say, it's watching websites that you access, and it's pushing adverts down to what you see. That's artificial intelligence. It's learning everything you do. Life is about building blocks. If we don't put our young people or encourage them to get involved in technology now, we're gonna have a big problem. Our young people need to be experts, and they need to be enterprising. So we need to be making sure we're equipping our young people from a young age. Don't leave it till too late, okay? That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
And if you get your young people onto boards, or if us as a community get onto boards where you can do, or the people that we know who are able to get onto boards, because it's not always for everybody, right? We need to do it now.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Is there anybody else who'd like to ask a question to any of our presenters? Now is a good opportunity, or else we can say our goodbyes. Any other questions? Right, presenters, I'm going to ask you to say your parting goodbyes, because nobody's got their hand up to ask any questions. I think they're all just in absolute awe of all of you.
Well, I'm going to say thank you for inviting Urban Synergy today to talk to you all. And the only one thing I ask for you today is don't just listen, take action. If it means that, Joan, we come back on and we bring young people, everybody brings a young person with them, I'm fine with that. But let's not just talk, it's about action, community unity, and we have to invest in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Michael, would you like to go next?
Yep, thank you. Thank you again, Joanne. Thank you again, Nadia, as well. Thank you for letting us be on this platform. I hope I get to speak to all of you guys again very soon. Do follow our journey at the 100. If you want to come and join us. I forgot to mention as well, I was hoping that it would prove it with Katisha, but it's not, even though it's called 100 Black Men, it isn't just for men, it's men and women. Paul emphasized the reason why the 100 Black, why it was called 100 Black Men, but we do work, we actually, to be honest with you, the women probably work harder than the men in the organization, and that's just being honest. So yeah, so if you do want to join us, all the links have been sent in the chat. I can send it again for you guys. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can all start uniting and coming together. Thank you again for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Michael. Jackie, are you around? No. Victoria, would you like to say a parting goodbye?
Yes, just, yeah, big thanks for having me on. And yeah, it was, excuse me, just really good listening to all the other speakers. I've gained some knowledge myself. So yeah, this is an amazing platform, Joan. Keep going with it. It's amazing what you're doing. And thank you for everybody that, you know, sent messages and so forth.
That's good. Thank you very much. I've got someone's hand up. Ange. Hello, Ange. Would you like to ask a question? And where are you calling in from? Ange? No. Okay. I've got Bologna.
Hi there, Bologna here. Thank you everyone for this awesome session. I've put it in the chat. I don't know whether you can see it. Let me just read it out to be super quick. Basically a comment from any of you panelists just to say, to encourage us on just a word on how we can use our different lived Black experiences to unite and sort of propel our what we want to achieve forward. I think it would be important to say a word on that.
Okay, who wants
Does that make sense?
I don't mind jumping in.
Thank you.
First of all, in terms of us being united, I've had many great and wise mentors over the last 20 years or so. The first thing is that we must work with people that want to work with us. Not everybody wants to, not everybody can, and not everybody is equipped to go where we are going. So I think, what's the word? Unattaching ourselves from this notion that it needs to be everybody, because it ain't going to be everybody, because it's just numbers, being really unemotionally attached to it. Most people aren't going to do what needs to be done to get to the next stage, whatever that is. So that's a really key thing for me. The Black experience, the African experience, because at the end of the day, most of us are not indigenous to wherever our forebears may have been born. Our ancestry is an African rooted ancestry, and we've taken that and we've made it our own wherever we found ourselves in the world. Is that what is really important is that our experience and our lived experience is the global experience. We set all the trends, we're popular, we're fashionable, we lead everything. It's about moving from being inventors to innovators. Inventors get the patent, innovators get money in the bag, and then money in the bag creates cultural dynamics and change on the actual ground. So it's that assurity that the global experience is ours. Everything is fashioned from us. So that is not a different point of view. It's the worldview that everybody else then takes, spins, and innovates from. So it goes back to something I was saying earlier, that centering ourselves in the fact that we are able, and that with the proper and right effort, guidance, implementation, mentoring, but also one thing we haven't spoke about is advocacy this morning. It's one thing to have a mentor, but for example, if you want to get into an industry or you're working in a company, you must have someone that can advocate for you. You must have somebody that when you're up for that next round of promotions, they are going to be in the room, not only speaking positively about you, but also batting away any negative comments that may come up. Like, oh, well, you know, we're not sure if Jaleesa can actually work in this environment. Well, have you tested her? Have you put a personal development program in place for Jaleesa? No? Well, then I think we should give her the benefit of the doubt for now. And that's enough from me.
Thank you.
Can I chip in? Yeah, I just wanted to add to that as well. So Dana, yeah, fantastic what you were saying. I just wanted to add to that as well, which is, I think we need to be supporting each other, and we need to be trusting as well. We need to learn to trust each other, because I think, you know, we've grown up in a society where we've been kind of put against each other, Africans, Caribbean, and so forth. And this is historical. And I think we need to be open to working with each other, and we also need to learn to trust each other as well. Learn to be open to trusting, you know, as opposed to just saying, oh, this person has, you know, done this, or they're African or they're Caribbean, and no, you know, I think it's about just being open, being kind of just letting your spirit lead you in terms of, yeah, this could be a good fit to work with this individual, as opposed to just shunning it away before you've even started. So that's all I would add.
Thank you.
Trust.
Thank you. Anybody else? Right. And you've got your hand up. Would you like to ask your question? Where are you coming in from?
Thank you. From Catford.
Good morning.
And just want to say thank you for putting on this platform today, and to all the speakers. It's been fantastic. Apologies, I couldn't get my hand down. I mean, I couldn't unmute myself properly before. My question is, a lot of these fantastic organizations are for children up to the age of, or young adults up to the age of 18. I posted a question and somebody kindly mentioned Making the Leap is a charity that supports adults up to the age of 30. I'm just wondering, besides that charity, is there any other organizations that support young graduates in their 20s who are finding it difficult finding a job, particularly in this time? I have a son who is very intellectual, motivated, particularly to create his own business, has always wanted to do that from a very, very young age. At the age of 7, he was making PowerPoints about making his own soap company. But right now he's a young graduate, but I would like him to find an organization like 100 Black Men to join, but they all tend to go up to the age of 18. So any kind of advice on organizations like that that would support 20s would be really great. I'll be grateful for.
Yeah, hello. And the 100, our mentoring service is up to the age of 18. But in terms of, like you were saying just a minute ago about your, you wanted to start his own business.
Yeah.
We have our business program, which is led by our economic empowerment team. So something like that would be very helpful for him, so he can understand what he needs, everything he needs to know before he starts the business or while he's in business. That's one thing. And second of all, is like I was saying, when I first joined, I joined because I was looking for a mentor, not to actually mentor. But what I found is two things. One, by mentoring the young people, I was actually like growing myself, which is one thing. And second thing, because you're surrounded by such great, because I was surrounded by such great men and women, I was getting loads of mentors in there anyway. So I would say that a majority, I'll say that within the 100, I've probably got about 15 to 20 mentors, let's say, because all of that I'm learning from their experiences as well. So while we're doing the training, while we're teaching the young people, they're actually mentoring me at the same time.
Right. Okay.
On the baton. So that's one thing that I have learned with the 100. So that's one way it can happen.
Lovely, thank you. I'll
Reach Society. Sorry, Reach Society is another one as well that it would be worthwhile looking at. Reach Society. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I want to take Renegade Businesses details that I've left in the chat. Put your son in contact with us and we'll be happy to gift him some time to talk through his business idea.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I've got Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hi. Joan, I just wanted to come back. Okay, you need to put me. Can you hear me now?
Just, it's a bit echoey.
Okay.
What you're gonna go ahead? Are you there, Jackie? No? Okay. Anybody else has any questions for the panelists? Or do I go back to my goodbyes?
Sorry, I didn't have any questions. I came in a little bit late, so I did miss quite a lot of it. I just wanted to say I do agree a lot with what people were saying, because as parents, and I find particularly as Black parents, my background is education anyway. I do find that as parents, we do aspire for our children and we all want them to be doctors and lawyers. And I'm constantly having battles with parents about looking at their children's talents and skills as opposed to constantly wanting to do or push them in areas that they may not necessarily want to go into. And I've actually found that sometimes I end up with people in my classes doing things that they wanted to do, but only went through things that their parents actually wanted them to do. It could be because we don't necessarily know a lot in things like technology, but I do think that we do need to open our minds, and we need to be prepared to let our children choose what they actually want to do at times, of course with our guidance, but you know, we're constantly forcing our children into doing.
I think he disappeared off the
I
line.
think the stigma of not having your child go to uni is also something that's very, very present, and it's something that we do need to address as well. That our children might be creative, they're talented in other ways, but we really do need to start looking at where our children go and how we can actually guide them into excelling in other areas as well.
I agree. Thank you very, very much for that. Well, on that note, everybody, I think we're going to wrap this session up. Queens, Young, Gifted and Black, it's our youth. I want to thank all my presenters. You have all been, oh gosh, what words can I use to describe all of you? Fantastic, magnificent, amazing, brilliant. You've all brought a wealth of knowledge and experience to the platform to share with our community. You know, we had about 130 guests on the platform, and I normally say at the beginning, you know, I hope you've made loads of notes, because the sessions that we run on a Saturday, it's about empowering and educating our community. And as I said before, I'm really looking to do this session again, because it's so important that, you know, we're all busy running around doing this, doing that, but it's about, you know, stepping back. And with the pandemic that we're in, it's given us time to step back and think about things, think about life, think about our families a lot differently. And we do seriously need to, and it's not just about talking about it, it's about doing. So we really need to invest in our young people. They are the future, you know, and as my mother always says, Miss Ungan, all of us, we're all getting to the top of that ladder. So, you know, it's really about, you know, handing over the baton to the next generation. And it's not just, you know, we see, you know, the sports stars, the, you know, pop stars, etc., you know, but there is spaces in these accountants, top accountancy firms, top law firms, top banks. We want to see our young people in those positions, in those organizations, sitting on the boards, being directors. And I truly believe there is greatness in our young people. A lot of them, they just need guidance and they just need direction. Yeah. And, you know, as I've said, if anybody has any skills or talents, you know, please contact us. You might only have an hour to spare, you know, to sit and talk with a young person, mentor a young person. You might be, you know, an accountant, or like the lady before, you know, she's in education. Maybe you might, everyone's got skills and talents, you know, come get involved in the organizations. And like I said before, one hand can't clap, you know, it's about community now. So I really, really hope, you know, this platform has been a real driving force to kind of like galvanize us and, you know, get involved. It's for the greater good. So thank you all very much for being on the Queen's platform, another early morning session. And as always, we go way over time. But I think part of my introduction was missed. So this is week 6 of the Queen's series. For those of you who joined kind of like later on. So we've had Queens Black Hair Rocks, we've had Queens We Ain't Crazy, It's Only the Menopause, we've had Queens Breaking the Silence, Let's Talk About Mental Health, we've had Queens Stop Eating the Fridge, Let's Talk About Diet and Nutrition, we've had a session with, we've had an audience with Big Nannies and Couture Locks, and Saturday gone we had like a Christmas market, where we had lots of vendors come on the platform, tell us about their wares. So we've got a whole array of, you know, Black businesses in our community, and it's about giving them a platform to showcase themselves. So that's what we did on Saturday. And of course, we've had Queens, Young, Gifted and Black, and it's been absolutely fantastic, amazing. And thank you all very, very, very much for being on the platform this morning. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Have a phenomenal Saturday. And I'm going to play my tune again. Yes? Because I was playing it at the beginning. Will it play? Let's see, will it play? I'll probably get cut off now. Gifted and Black.
black, and that's a fact. Young, gifted and black, must begin to tell our young. There's a world.
Yes, people, it's where it's at. Our young people, you know, and that's one of the things that breaks my heart when I hear about the gang violence, etc. Because I know our young people, they're young and they're so gifted. Yeah, and they are black. They are gifted. Yeah, there's good in all of them. I truly believe that. So people, have a fantastic Saturday. I normally say I'm going to go and cook my Saturday soup, but it's not Saturday soup today. It's ackee and saltfish today.
Coming round.
I better stop recording. But have a fantastic Saturday, everybody. God bless you all.
Bye.
Thank you, Joan.
Bye. Thank you,
Take
Joan.
care. Bye, everyone. Thank you.